What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology Retold action. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Clash of Immortals playoffs here. $10,000 on the line for the best players in the business here on the top of the map. Going to be playing some Isis for us on this auspicious of occasions. His name is the Rapple and he's from the Aces clan. His opponent today, in the bottom of the map, playing as Loki. His name is Superfem. Managing to make it into the playoffs here with a nice run in the first day of the qualifiers. And we'll see what he can make happen here. He was pushed to the brink in pretty much all of his sets from memory. He went 2-1 in the best of threes. He went 3-2 in the best of five. But he has made it this far. But he is up against a bit of a titan in the Rapple. I'm not feeling 100% today. I've definitely got something in my throat. So we're going to be taking it a little bit easy on the old yells. A little bit more analytical sort of analysis today. I hope you guys enjoy that. This is exactly very much live and in stereo, as we'll see how these guys are going to be going for. Already, we've got the pickaxe coming through now for the Rapple, as he is going to be gearing up to start working towards his Flood of the Nile. He's got himself a really, really nice start here on these hippopotamus, getting this granary setting up for the chickens. Very, very nice as well. And he's going to be able to eat this hippopotamus underneath the town center as well. Now, we are on the map Giza. So this is a interesting map because it's got two different types of spawns. One spawn gives you a really nice back defensible, easy to secure gold mine, which will be meaning that in order to punish that sort of a thing, you've got to really have a solid plan. The other type of spawn is no back gold mine and very difficult to grab. As we see the town centers as well, sort of positioned in the center of the map, not going to be helping at all with securing any gold mines. So I would actually expect to see no sort of far second town centers here from either player. It's not going to be helping them win this game, I think. In fact, it's going to be giving them a really, really big weakness that is going to be tough to deal with. So I'm excited to see which way Rapple's going to go, because it's pretty certain that Superfem is going to play the Forseti style. He's been pretty vocal about how he thinks about Norse and how strong he thinks Forseti is. But he's going to drop his temple. He's got his hippopotamus as well. On the other side, Rapple, he can go Bast, he can go Anubis. Both are decent options. I know the Bast giving access to sacred cats, and all the other good stuff that comes with that. Anubis giving access to Necropolis and Anubites as well. You can go for Sphinx here with Isis. You can go for Anubites. You can just do a classical fight with while using that favor elsewhere on, say, Prosperities, or potentially on a whole bunch of McDolls a little bit later. And he's picking the Bast as the option, as he's going to be dropping a second monument down. Recently, monuments were sort of nerfed, and we kind of have seen a little bit of a change in pace from Egyptian players as they're deciding to go for more kind of quicker advances and going for quicker advances and going into sort of delayed monuments rather than the sort of kind of slowish advances with lots of monuments. Haven't really seen a whole lot of that. I'm a little bit surprised. I didn't think the nerf was like that big in terms of completely shutting these sort of strategies down, but it seems like the top players don't really think it's very good. They've definitely tried it in their practice games, I'm sure. But yeah, we'll see how things are going to go as Superfem. He's going to have to now look at where he wants to be next. He's going to come over onto these rhinos, the obelisk here for Rapple, seeing literally the entirety of the map for the time being. And in the main base, we're going to be seeing a barracks already through for the Rapple and the monument to the priest coming up. A little bit of an interesting one from Rapple. He's actually been chucking 2 villagers onto these monuments just to ensure that they get up as fast as possible. And this means that Superfem is going to have to deal with mass Sphinx coming his way. And we'll see how it's all going to go as the trolls now just going to sit onto this position and start flinging rocks at the obelisk. One great hall to come up, more Hersa to start coming down. Double great hauls actually for Super FM. I do like the idea of Hersa raiding cavalry to kick off a game as the Norse player. Just because making throw an axeman does lead you down a path of Sphinx killing all your Deuterinos. Now Rappel's actually looking to move out across the map. This is a little bit dangerous. He does see this entire position. In fact, Super FM doesn't even care. Super FM is seeing. No, he doesn't see any of the obelisks. They're in a really, really good spot here. But he sees exactly what's happening here. The rest of the units, however, sitting in the main base, they're going to be pumping out really quickly now. Lots and lots of raiding cavalry, and this could go very, very poorly here for the Rappel if he's not careful. As he charges forward, trying to bait that rock in, does dodge that one. The villagers are going to have to pull back. He sees the Hierarcha Sphinx, and now he's going to have to retreat back home. Now, Super FM, he uses this strategy. He knows this strategy. He knows how to beat this strategy as well, I would assume. Especially with the walls already up over here. Going to completely protect this base. His gold mine a little bit out in the open, but he does have this back gold mine here. Now, personally, I think your best bet in this situation is to try and grab all these chickens as fast as you can, and then move on to this back position here to grab the zebra and prevent the army from actually walking through your base, and you can actually get to the heroic age and have a good game. If you don't, you're going to be aiming for a sort of heroic age yourself a little bit later with a huge amount of units and trying to make a good fight with the flaming weapons versus an eclipse. Difficult one, but is possible to get through it if you play it well. As more axemen coming through, and we'll see what Rappel's next plan is going to be here. Armory to come down. He sees how defensive Super FM is playing, and he's going to say, well, I could add in Ancestor's Eclipse to my Sphinx spammage. Small Sphinx are coming through, moving across the map. AFM hasn't really managed to clean up any of these obelisks of the Rappel, so now the Rappel has literally just got so much line of sight here, putting up more obelisks on the front just to make sure that he doesn't get caught out of position, cleaning up another wall over here, try to get around onto the back. We do see Super FM very happily eating up this hunt on the back of his base for the time being, as the walls over here, however, getting knocked down will mean that back position is going to be open for some Sphinx to run through. However, Rappel's got to be careful not to actually go through there too aggressively, because otherwise he's going to get caught in here. A wall will break up any sort of reinforcements from coming through. So he's going to decide to just pull back for the moment here, as yeah, Super FM has got a really, really nice defensive foothold at the moment. He doesn't have to take any fights. He does have to be a little bit careful, like just spamming units versus trying to think about the next age is kind of the big question mark to make that decision here. He's got so many kind of hashtag chemo walls that he can throw up to delay on this position. If Rappel's going to try and push through here, he can actually just grab all of these dudes and just keep on walling this up. I like that play there. This is very, very smart. Going to be making some significant delays in any sort of a timing. At the moment, we are seeing a healthy amount of spearmen to come through. I'm not sure I like this attack here from the Rappel. He is going to be turning around. He clicks the Eclipse at the moment. He's only got 2 Sphinx. This is not going to be going well for the Rappel at all here. As one Sphinx goes down, the other one's going to be going down as well. I have got no idea what he is trying to make happen here. Is the army of Super FM, I mean, it looks like it's actually been pretty well. I don't know, man. I think this has been a decent fight for Super FM, but he's going to be pulling back into his main base. That was a little bit of a shocker. I think the Hersa didn't quite get onto that other Sphinx for long enough. He got a lot of value, but just 2 Sphinx for an Eclipse. Super FM's got to have a... He's got to be very, very happy about that. Now he's got access to... he's got access to the idea of flaming weapons. Flaming weapons without having to deal with an Eclipse. He's also got 71 favor in the bank to pump out a whole bunch of trolls here. So there's going to have to be a bunch of priests to come through. And in the classical age, Isis, the priests just aren't that good. They're very, very average in the classical age. That's the wooden gate. Going to be getting cleaned up over here. We do see a longhouse to come down. The dwarf's going to be coming through here as well. But Rappel is actually... he's found himself like a considerable score advantage, but I think this score is a little bit inflated. I kind of talk a little bit about favor and how it affects score. It is... I think that's basically all that this advantage is right now. It's basically just in the favor situation. I'm not sure, though, because Super FM's got a bunch in his bank as well. But not spending it is a big question mark. I'm not exactly sure what he's waiting on there. Maybe he's just trying to get heroic age here so he can get a power spike to fight back against these units. But yeah, this game is definitely still incredibly close, and any sort of a mispositioning on a fight can go really badly. We are now seeing the slingers to take out those throwing axemen. We're talking about how slingers, sorry, not slingers, but throwing axemen, not the best really against Sphinx, but they're only not the best up until Eclipse is gone. When Eclipse is gone, you can very well build those throwing axemen and have a good game.
In which
There's Rappel kind of... I don't think he wants to take fights underneath this choke point. It's really, really nice yet again for Super FM. So the priest here going after the troll in the back. A nice troll spawn there as well for Super FM. Those Hersa can't get through onto the Sphinx for the most part, which I think is why the Rappel is happily taking this fight. That troll on the back here cleaning up another Sphinx here as he's breaking through onto those throwing axemen. The slingers are in as well. Raiding cavalry there. Not going to be really enough to clean up those slingers, as it looks like Rappel is just inching his way past this. Lots of kind of miss macro in a way from both players, considering how aggressive the Rappel is playing. I feel like he could get all those resources spent and just be outright dominating here. But Super FM now has not managed to hold here. That fight was pretty good, to be honest, for him, but he just did not have all of the resources spent to be taking it. So now we see the Sphinx to come down to the bottom, checking everything else around here. Rappel knows that there's a gold mine over there. In fact, he actually sees a whole bunch of villagers on this position, as he will send some Sphinx over onto that side, I'm sure. As now Nephthys has been clicked up. I'm not 100% surprised to see Nephthys. You're playing against Loki, who does have those myth units. You want to get Nebty to take out the myth units a little bit more efficiently. Definitely a better idea than going for Sobek. As a throw an axeman going to be getting cleaned up over there. As the Sphinx looks to try and break through over onto this. If he can get in front of these units here, he's kind of not paying attention on the units as he is getting raided. Oh no, he's not. He's raiding over here. He's cleaning up a couple of villages on that position, and in that moment, Super FM does tap out. It's a very, very interesting game. I think Super FM took some good fights here, but macro-wise just wasn't quite there. And then once the position got broken down, you got a Sphinx over here. You got an army over here. You got a couple spears over here killing villagers. Yeah, well, the 105 favor in the bank here, I think, is a big letdown from Super FM. I think if he'd potentially just instead of 700 food in the bank, he had spent that all on wood and made a whole bunch of trolls here. I think he's very much holding anything that's coming through on a choke point, and then he's going to be in a good spot here to move forward. But first game winning for the Rappel. Congratulations to him. It's a best of 3 here at this stage of the playoffs. So we'll jump into game number 2 and see if Rappel can take it in dominating fashion, or if Super FM is going to be able to force a game of 3. GG. All right, game number 2 here. As we're going to be moving in onto the map Ghost Lake. In the blue color, we do have Zeus here for the Rappel. And in the red color, we have Afim playing as Thor. The map is Ghost Lake. And it is a 1 gold mine Ghost Lake. A best of 3, Rappel up 1-0. I will apologize yet again for anyone kind of just jumping into the stream at the moment. Trying to keep my vocal cords a little bit on the low level. because I'm getting sick. But nonetheless, Rappel playing a really, really solid game number one. I think it was sort of forcing the issue maybe a little bit too much. Maybe if Afim just played a tiny bit better, he was actually going to be able to find a really, really nice win there. So I don't know if Rappel, he has to put that out of his mind at the back. Same with Super FM and focus on this game. But we'll see if the gameplay is going to be a little bit more sort of methodical and well thought out, or if it's just going to be, let's try and force the issue and just try and outplay from these players. As we've got the temple, not the temple, but the armory coming up for Super FM. Going to be opening up with that to kick the game off. And Rappel, he has been incredibly brutal to kick this one off. That's a second berserk for Super FM. Super FM has found himself 5 goats. 2 berserk Super FM. Wow, this is somewhat of a new build order, I'd say. Haven't seen this one before. I do rate this. I've been thinking about a double berserk, but building the second berserk much later in the build order for Thor, so that you can get those, you can get that scouting information in. But this is this is a really, really strange opening because it really puts you behind. But his idea here is obvious. He's like, I don't want to give the Zeus player all of the goats. As the Katoskopos is going to hide around on this side. But if Rappel does this and he does steal 2 off, if Rappel focuses on this, he's going to think, hang on, this is the only berserk here, right? I don't know if he saw in the main base. Wait, did he? Let's have a look. He didn't look into the main base. So he's going to be thinking this is the only berserk here, which means he's going to be happily able to sort of fight over these 2 goats. But this is giving Super FM a huge amount of advantage here because he's going to be able to grab these goats, these goats, these goats, and Rappel isn't going to get any of that. He does find 2 on the top, but he's very likely not going to get the other ones on this right side. So a really big advantage here. Town center wise, a nice little town center here, which does help set up to secure these gold mines. It won't secure it by itself, but it's a nice one. On the bottom side, we've got 4 gold mines. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 surrounding this. This town center is really, really nice here for the Rappel. Could be really nice for Super FM as well. Like, just because the town center is closer to the Rappel. When you're playing as Thor, it doesn't really matter. You can dictate kind of what's happening there if you're quick enough. As we see Athena to come through. It does look like we're going to be seeing a fast second town center at the moment. But Rappel, he doesn't really know anything. Maybe you can go and grab this one. It'll be a bit funky. So you see a couple of goats getting grabbed, and Freya as the god of choice here from Super FM. Part of me thinks like that this is a misclick. Is this a misclick? Normally we see 4 steady. Freya gives access to the Valkyrie, gives access to the raiding cavalry upgrades to make those a little bit stronger, but yeah, this is kind of wild. We will be seeing a town center coming up. I guess the idea here is that Super FM has read that the Rappel is going for a fast second town center. Not exactly sure how he reads it. He doesn't really scout it just yet, but he's read that this is going to be a fast second town center, and given that it's such a late advance time from Super FM, he's going to say, I'm just going to all in. This is going to be raiding cavalry, pedal to the metal, Valkyrie spammage, and a full send from Super FM most likely. As we see one Great Hawk coming up, more Herser to come through. Has not grabbed himself the Hammer of Thunder yet. Obviously not wanting it thus far. And the Valkyrie going to move across the map. Most likely just going to get bolted nice and quickly here. Goat differential. We did a little bit of a check on this. We've got 10 goats for the Rappel versus, in the end here, 13 for Super FM. So the later advance time pays off for Super FM. He actually managed to get some goats where normally you wouldn't, given a build like this. And the Valkyrie here going to be bashing away at the temple. I'm not sure if Super FM here wants his Valkyrie bolted or not, but wall's coming up over here. just trading some HP on the Minotaur for the Valkyrie. It seems like no Bolt. Rappel says this isn't what I want here. He's going for something a little bit different. There's a Forest Fire on the back position to move these villages away. We could probably talk about Forest Fire a little bit as we see a Bolt there onto the Hearser of all things, leaving the Valkyrie alive as the villager's going to turn around and start shanking. I think Rappel might live to regret this. Superfim is at 16 favor. He can get himself another Valkyrie out and then heal it up. Never mind, Superfim can lose his Valkyrie to the Jason as he wasn't paying attention. Has a little bit of a fight to come through here. Nice control from both players as Rappel pulls back and Superfim decides to pull back. Another military academy to come up for the time being here. Do we see any sort of cheeky Pegasus coming out anytime soon? Looks like the answer is not just yet. You kind of know what Thor is doing when he goes Forseti. You kind of know what Thor is doing when he goes Freya. They obviously can do something different. We could see Berserks here for Superfim at the moment. If he really wanted to, it would catch Rappel by surprise, though. Rappel's expecting to see raiding cavalry and basically nothing else. Though we might see some Thrown Axemen as well, just as a sort of setup situation. And there's the raiding cavalry to come through. Might see an early crenellations here as well. As effectively what Superfim is going to want to do is going to be to force some fights, force some trades, and force the Rappel into a position where he has to spend some gold. So the more gold that the Rappel spends, the faster, or the less chance of, or the more chance of actually being able to get a gold staff, which is what Superfim wants here. So if Rappel is going to be playing this one in a good solid way, he's just going to want to not fight at all, not lose any units at all, and go from there. As we almost see one hoplite getting sniped, nice pullback. No way to heal that without the restoration, the usage of a god power there. As the army is starting to build up quite nicely. You have to also remember this is Thor, so Thor's got access to a whole bunch of armory upgrades here, which does make it very, very challenging to take these early game fights, as the village is going to have to repair the temple up. There is the Scarab Pens in here, not that useful. As we see a Pegasus in as well. The Dwarven Gold Mine getting dropped down as well is another little bit of an economic boost. It's only 10%, I believe, in the Classical Age, but that's still not nothing. That's still quite a bit of extra little boost there, and he doesn't have to walk all the way to the gold. As Superfim knocks down the temple, going to be going after these villages here. And do we see crenellations in? Still no crenellations, so the towers are going to not be doing as much damage as they really should be. As a restoration that comes through, keeping the villages alive, healing up his units, and Superfim will have to pull back now. Army-wise, there's really not a whole lot here for the Rappel, and it looks like he's going to be in a lot of trouble very, very shortly here with not much gold. That 4 gold mine there, this is a really nice attack from Superfim. He's got to keep on putting the pressure on. And he's got himself another Valkyrie. I'm sure he's going to be building more of those as he gets more fighting. I think Rappel's going to be kicking himself for going for this second town center. But what he can do is show him a market, move off of this gold mine for a little bit, and he's going to have a huge villager advantage. Got to get that villager to work. It's not notifying him that it's notifying him, but it's not notifying him. She's a little bit stuck. Now, one thing here for the Rappel that could be helping him is because he's not playing against Forseti, he doesn't have to worry about all of those big myth units. Or not myth units, big Hearser. So it might not be a terrible idea to make some Minotaurs. Though he did lose his bad boy. He's lost his temple. As the villagers here, going to have to actually start fighting. Pulling the boys, the raiding cavalry on the front line. Getting lots of good damage done. The Toxotes on the back, cleaning up those Throwing Axemen nice and quick there as the villagers need to pull back. Pulling underneath the town center here as Jason gets rebuilt. Going straight after the Valkyrie here. Nice little garrison micro here as Superfim is just full send all the way at the moment. One thing here, but Rappel is done with garrisoning into the tower here. He gets a huge amount of bonus damage to shoot and get and get this hold here, as Super FM suicides his entire army here, and now the Rapple is completely fine. But he still has to be careful. This is where things go wrong for a lot of players, right? Things go wrong for players when they're playing 2 town center play. Someone does some sort of an all-in like this. You hold it, and from there you think you're actually in front. But in reality, I think the economy is probably still pretty close here. The economy is going to go out of control for the Rapple very, very quickly. But he has to just sit here and wait. He literally just has to sit here and wait for the next all-in from Super FM, and so long as he controls the army well, he should be able to hold. As he moves out, pops his units there. The raiding cavalry coming back up. Market. Is there a market up? There is a market over here for the Rapple. As the Heracles is now through as well. Still has to be very careful. There's a lot of units here for Super FM. But Rapple can do what he did before. Pull back to his town center. There's not really a problem here. Losing a lot of villages, however, to try and hold this gold mine for the time being. This is probably not the best of ideas here. But nonetheless, we'll see if we can make a hold happen. As the Heracles does manage to come around, trying to take out a Valkyrie on the back. Jason not in for the moment here as the Toxotes pulling back. There's still a slight villager lead for the Rapple, but it's only a very slight one after losing all of those villagers there. As the Jason in to try and snipe down a Valkyrie, picks off one. Jason is such a good myth unit killer. If he can get on top of the unit, he will get huge damage done. Rapple manages to hold here, but in a way, Super FM's got to be very, very happy about the position now. But he might be overcooking it here with his attack. As the Valkyrie's going to fall, Toxotes still microing nicely. Rapple may be overstaying his welcome outside of his base. Longer has the town center to help out. And he does decide in that moment, okay, time to pull back. Needs to get his heroes back out. Jason is now back out yet again. But the gold has been finished. So now Rapple's got a little bit of a lifeline here selling wood. He's going to build a ton of farms as well. But the differential in villages here is kind of small. This is kind of small. So Rapple is going to have to somehow move out of his base and grab a gold mine. He does have this one over here. It is checked out by the houses. Now, we see the sort of villages spread out all over the place here for Super FM. So Heracles comes through. And at that moment, Super FM has done the damage. He's done what he needed to do. But he needs to do it again. As the village is now going to sneak out over here. He might be able to jump onto the caribou, but that's a little bit of a risk here. As the village is going to get sniped onto this side. Toxotes trying to pick off units here. But it is a little bit tricky. How are the armory upgrades looking? Not really there just yet. As the villagers sneak through. Rapple's trying to be sneaky, but he's not going to be able to get there. Sacrificing a handful of villagers here and then moving over onto this gold mine is definitely an idea for the Rapple. He does see all the army moving over onto this spot as the villagers are going to completely sneak off into the distance. This is something that I know that Kavoth likes to do, Gabu likes to do, as Superfim knows these villagers are here. He's not going to get fooled, but he has brought the villagers or the army over here. Sniping one unit there, trying to get a couple more kills, and now the villagers can move on to this. So great play from the Rapple to bait the entirety of the army over there. However, now Super FM is well and truly equal in this game, well and truly in a fine position here, nearly full population, and Bragi is going to be coming through really shortly. He might not even need it. He could just keep getting armory upgrades right now and hit even faster as the walls to come through. And this game is not looking like Rapple can quite survive here for the moment. Toxotes on this backside going to be getting snipe down more villagers to come over. Utilizing maybe some towers on this position might be some sort of a idea for the Rapple, but he is in a very, very tough spot now. Good control from the hoplites as they throw an axeman to start sniping everything down. The villagers need to come through and start assisting on this one. It's a very, very difficult fight, though, being down 50 population. The villagers will be helping out in a big way, but no reinforcements to follow here, as it looks like Super FM is going to be leveling this series 1-1, and we're going to be going to a game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Rapple scratching his head, I think, at the moment, going, there's nothing else I can do here, and the game goes Super FM's way. Like, there was a moment here, I think, where Rapple was in a really good spot. He was completely fine. In fact, I think he was winning. We can take a quick look at the post game and talk about it. Score-wise, it was around about here, right? Around about here. The civilian unit count was really nice. The military differential was pretty close. But Rapple here, he kept on taking fights where I think he needed to go in to the market a little bit earlier to kind of just put up with that final bit of push. If he went into the market just that little bit earlier and did the trading instead of sucking the villagers and trying to take the fight, losing a lot of villagers there, then he would be able to keep building units out, and he probably would have been fine to actually hold, because I imagine Super FM would have full sent in onto this location anyways, then being fighting underneath the watchtowers and stuff. You got a little bit too, I guess, impatient. Patience is always the name of the game with the 2 town center play. A little bit too impatient on this one. FM levels the series. We'll get into game number 3. Pretty close series here thus far. Very, very aggressive from both players in both games. And we'll see if we're going to see more of the same in game number 3, or if they're going to go for a different sort of an approach. And we move into game number 3 now. We're on the map Oasis. And I guess we'll see how it's going to go, because Rapple now is going in with Ra, and Super FM is actually picking Set. So yes, the map Oasis is a very, very defensive map, but can be very aggressive in the same breath. But this is not one of those breaths, because it's a one oasis, a one forest oasis, one whole oasis, you might say. And so we got the nice water in the center. Why do I say it's got some avenues for aggression? We can talk about it for the moment here. So Oasis has got 3 different types of spawns. You've got the 4 Oasis, the 2 Oasis, and the 1. 2 Oasis is somewhat aggressive, because at least you can still make it through the forests and get onto both sides of the map. The 4 Oasis is the best one for any sort of aggression, because there's now 3 different sort of paths you can go to get around and start pressuring your opponent. But this 1 Oasis, if we put it into perspective here, let's say that the villagers or the fight is on this gold mine. All of a sudden, the Ra player can just say, I'm going to go over here. And then I'm also going to put a temple here. I'm going to put a wall here. And then all of a sudden, you have got no real angle to do anything. Now, why am I bringing this all up? Well, this matchup is a aggression versus defense game, just like the other 2 have been so far, to be honest. Though, funnily enough, we saw it kind of in the inverse of maybe what we would normally see, with the Zeus would normally be the aggressor against the Thor. But nonetheless, Super FM here on the set has to set the pace here. He's got to be thinking about denying fast second town centers from coming up and all the good stuff there. Now, I'm of the opinion that I don't actually think you can deny a naked fast second town center from the Ra, even with villagers getting pulled in because of this technology. You just research this one when it comes in, and then you turn around, take the fight, and you're kind of good to go. Plus, you can have yourself a whole bunch of priests there if you really want to. So if you've got a very specific anti-set sort of build as Ra, it's going to be very, very challenging to actually break that down. It doesn't look like Rapple is going for that build. He might be looking to play more 1 town center ideas here, or going for a town center in his main base. Super FM, on the other hand, he should be looking to advance about now. Looks like he doesn't actually have the resources or the temple up, so I think we're going to be seeing no such aggression from either player here. I think we're going to be seeing much more of a boomy sort of opening thus far, as the priest here getting spotted, and with the help of a cheeky lion, got to micro it though. You don't want the lion to get in the way because he's got a very, very long attack animation, but keeping the snare on that priest, getting that pick is actually really big. So now you actually start opening up for more sort of aggressive options again, because no priest means you don't have that extra little support. As Dark coming through for Rappel, I got to do a little flipsy here. And we also got Dark coming through on the other side for Super FM a little bit later. He's going for a fast second town center, it looks like, as he's got himself 9 villages on the gold mine. And the priest here, whoop, 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 will it be falling? He's getting the health in. Another priest is now out. And he manages to survive this one. Nice play. Very sad. Set villager here. Gonna have to walk back all the way home. And this is basically the build I was talking about. This is your anti-set villager rush or town center rush. This is your anti-set Ra build. You get 3 priests out and you go for the town center. And it's very, very tricky to actually beat this many priests here. Very, very tricky. So, I mean, we'll see how it's going to go. He's going to walk over here and drop this one. The baboon here will be spotting this. If I was Rappel, I'd walk up here now and just drop the town center on the front. He pulls back ever so slightly, tries to stay out of line of sight, but I think this is very, very obvious what's happening. The Pharaoh actually staying in the center here as we see the shifting sands to come through from Super FM. And this is just going to be a very boomy thing here. I think Rappel's going to be ecstatic to be hearing that shifting sands. It means one thing and one thing only. Actually, it could mean 2 things. It means one thing and one thing only in the sane universe. And in the crazy universe, it might mean that there's going to be a forward base getting set up with barracks. I love the idea, but it's a little bit crazy. It might work. It might not. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to try it at some point. But Super FM's going to take this position. Rappel is over here to take this position. The priests shooting the giraffe underneath the town center. Chef's kiss for this one. Absolutely love that. As it looks like Super FM has actually converted all of his giraffes and just sent them back home. So nice play there. Meanwhile, giraffes all coming over here, doing all the good stuff. As the Wadget's going to be moving forward and off to the races. Got the armory to come through here for the Rappel. Got a market, or another armory actually. Not exactly sure what he's doing there, but fair enough. Just as a little comment to the Twitch chat, yes, I can time the ads. I do time the ads. I realized that there was going to be no action, so I decided that instead of stopping the ads for 5 minutes until when the action is, I would let the ads go. So apologies for that, but if you want to avoid ads, feel free to subscribe, support. I love you very much if you do. You don't have to, but if you want to, go for it. As we are going to be seeing segment, as they've got a choice here for Rappel. Looks like he's already clicked up. On the other side here, thanks for the gifted sub, Cherbot. On the other side here, Super FM is very, very late to the third age. He's got a lot of monuments here. He's gone for 3 monuments as opposed to the Rappel, only 2. But he's very, very late to the heroic age, which is going to give Rappel the time to set up a lot of his infrastructure so that nothing is really going to be a problem for him. In fact, I think the Rappel here, he's going to be very, very happily playing into this and saying, no worries, we just have to build some dudes and see how things go. Now, the Egyptian mirror is kind of all about the Camel Rider. I wouldn't be surprised here if Super FM's game plan is just fast Mythic through Thoth and then just try and ram the Camel Riders down the throat of Rappel and then say, well, you can't keep up with Valley of the Kings, Meteor, and all that other stuff. But as soon as the Rappel gets himself the actual numbers, then there's nothing that the set play can do with the Camel Riders. So the other option might be for a Fim to maybe go for barracks units. Now, recently, the Chariot Archer has been sort of brought back in line such that counter archers do actually beat them nicely now. Especially, Bone Bow Chariot Archers, which are on the table here for the Rappel. We also see Ancestors as well, Nephthys, to come through for the Super FM, which does dictate that Super FM is not playing for any sort of Chariot Archer unit. He's getting himself up a cheeky little Migdol. Not only counter archers, every archer beats them now. I think that the Chariot Archer beats Toxotes and beats Chukonu and beats Fire Archer and might lose to the Arcus now, but yeah, he pretty much beats everything except for the Arcus, right? Because you can outrange everything. So a little bit of spacing, a little bit of micro, can make it happen. But the point is that you can actually make slingers here. You can actually go for some barracks units against the Egyptian stuff. Anyways, Siege Works to come through here for Super FM. And we have the Rain to come through as well for Rappel. He's got a lot of farms here. How many farms? He's got 17 farms. 16 farms. 16 farms total. We're going to get a lot of resources in, and we are going to be seeing a very quick Mythic Age for both players. There is some other options here. Like, there's some, like, barracks kind of siege tower all-ins, which I think would be really powerful here, especially given the way that Super FM and Rappel have chosen to split the map up. If you go for a whole bunch of spearmen with Wadgets and siege towers, shifting sand in onto this spot, clean this up, and be protecting over here, right? So there was actually a very big angle here for Super FM to get some sort of a timing attack, but instead he's going to be playing into this fast Mythic, going to be launching a big fat Meteor into the main base. Rappel with his farms here, probably a little bit of a mistake because he's going to lose those, but given that he's got Shadoof, it's not that big of a gold sink.
Into you.
As the Camel Riders now starting to move forward. Going to be able to clean up those houses over here. Or at least starting to put just a little bit of pressure, but there's nothing on this top side. So part of this is also Rappel can sack, if he needs to, he can literally sack this entire position back here. As long as he holds this Citadel Center and holds this town center here with the Migdols and gets all of his camels, he should be okay here. Now, let's do some quick math.
Into you.
Heavy Camel Riders versus Champion Cavalry Riders plus 10% HP. The Champion Camel Riders of Super FM will be winning that. But Champion Camel Riders is already pre-queued here for Super FM. His Thoth is too late, and there's not going to be any advantage here for Super FM with those, as we are seeing Chariot Archers as well. Sort of preemptively, generally these Chariot Archers, I don't really see the point in them in the Egyptian mirror, unless your opponent's making spearmen. But nonetheless, houses to get taken out over here as Rappel is breaking into the main base. Big amounts of pressure here. As the Phoenix now out, Super FM now ready to start getting some shenanigans started here. He's got himself his Son of Osiris. He is moving everything up onto this. He wants to force the fight way, way away from his base here. Which, funnily enough, there's not really a whole lot here. There is a Scarab, and he could move forward and set up a nice a nice forward siege works. Start getting some catapults and making things happen as the meteor flies in here. Starting to kill off a whole bunch of stuff, a bunch of houses to go down. Looks like the town center is going to go down. Wow, he gets a little bit lucky with that one. As the Ancestors gets dropped down as well. The army very much out of position here for the Rappel. And the Son of Osiris is going to be able to clean up that Phoenix as the unit's now going to be streaming through here. Like I said, he can sack this position for the time being here, but running into that Citadel center, his army out of position. This is not ideal for him at all. He's going to be going for somewhat of a base trade at the moment, as he's also not able to afford that champion Camel Riders. Meanwhile, Spearman, champion Spearman through for Super FM as well. I like that idea. Going to be forcing at least something different out of Rappel. He can't keep going for those Camel Riders. Maybe he doesn't even have the favor for mummies. As the Scarab to return back over here, Super FM will be losing his town center on that spot. As the Spearman to come through, Villager's going to be retreating back into the Migdol stronghold over here, as Villager differential now 10. So a pretty sizable advantage in terms of economy now for at least the next couple of minutes for Super FM. He loses his town center, the army here for the Rappel. I mean, he can leave the Scarab, keep sniping houses down, being annoying there. He is getting his houses back up onto this position. Catapult cleaning everything else up as he's now pushing up over here as well. As those Camel Riders to come through. That Son of Osiris is going to be doing some hefty DPS from afar here. Champion Camel Riders to come through as well. I think he's got himself Desert Winds here as well, so that's going to be some incredibly tough to kill Camel Riders. But the Spearmen to come through, if he has a couple more of those barracks, he's going to be able to deal with these. As the catapult goes down, there's 2 town centers up for Rappel already, and he is in a perfectly fine position, I'd say. As Super FM doesn't really have access to another sort of shifting sense. He is going for, he's going for the old school. No school like the old school. He's going for those hippopotamus of set. This is something we used to do in Legacy quite a bit. It kind of fell out of favor in Retool because it seems to be better to make, whatchamacallits? Brain work. It seems to be better to make myth units and get technologies. But in this situation, Superfim realizes he's playing up against Camel Riders and he says, I need all the food I can possibly get to pump Spearmen out. And the problem here is that the Son of Osiris is really, really good. He does have a couple of Chariot Archers, which might be able to get some good damage done. He does manage to snipe all those Spearmen go down so quickly. And with the infrastructure that he's got, he's not able to rebuild this one. And Rappel is going to be catching up on villager count very, very quickly here. His economy is looking pretty stonking given how many losses he took. Super Film now going to get himself back his town center over here. We see a temple coming up for Super FM as well. It's that Son of Osiris. He's got to be careful with the Son of Osiris, but with that one mummy, look at all those minions he's managing to get out. You take a look at what the mummy gives versus what Ancestors gives. It's kind of wild, but fantastic control from the Rappel as he's managing to now start pushing through here. Chariot Archers should be able to clean up those Spearmen very, very quickly. Without Horus, doesn't matter. The Spearmen just don't cut the mustard, or poke the mustard, I should say. Can Super FM do anything else here? He's still pumping the hippopotamus of set out, trying to keep his food income going. It's pretty funny, but doesn't look like it's going to be working out for him here. I imagine his food economy is going to look beautiful in the post game, but it's just not going to be quite going his way here as the catapult goes down. And in the end there, the game is done. Rappel gets the dub. Really, really nice defense from the Rappel. Trying to break through this position was always going to be something that he was willing to sacrifice and then come back and defend up here, because this is where all the resources are. He doesn't need this space anymore. So he just allows Super FM. He even gives Super FM the like, he says, come at it. I got farms here. No worries. Like, kill off my farms, kill off my towns. I don't care. I know that I can push back and find some advantage here. I do think that this specific map, if Super FM had like read it correctly, he obviously wasted the shifting sands, which kind of takes away this sort of ability. But I think he sort of saw what the map was with his initial scouting already. And I think that a shifting sands spearman sort of attack onto this position would have been really, really nice. Cleaning this up while putting a Migdol over here, ready to start making himself some camel rider or some chariot or some elephant or something. And then just looking to kind of lock that spot up while staying in the heroic age, rather than trying to make it work in the mythic age. Alternatively, given the way that he's playing with these spearmen, there's probably some room for him to go Horus here, which, while it doesn't necessarily work amazingly against the mummies, if you can kind of somehow deal with those mummies, maybe with Avenger Spearman, it's pretty expensive food-wise on a map like Oasis, might not be the best idea, but that's probably another idea he could have gone for. But nonetheless, well played to the Rappel. He's going to be going on to the next round. We will be seeing a little bit more of Super Film today, however, as he will have to go off into the losers elimination sort of round. But well played by the Rappel. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Alrighty, we're into game number 1, and this is the playoffs of the Clash of Immortals EGCTV tournament here. $10,000 on the line. I am feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'm actually starting to feel like I got a little bit of pep in my step after watching that first series. But nonetheless, in the left-hand corner of the map, introducing the youngest player on the circuit here. This is Grass, also known as Grass and Groom, and he's going to be showing us his Odin here in game number 1. On the right-hand corner of the map, in the red color, we've got Tiger Boss, and he's going to be playing some Ra. So Grass, for those of you who don't know, auto-qualified here. And Tiger Boss, on the other hand, he is he got through the qualifiers. I'm trying to remember if he qualified on day 1 or day 2, but I can't remember. Nonetheless, it is definitely going to be a very, very interesting series. I'm sure Tiger Boss has been coming into his own. He used to be a very one-tricky Atlantean player, being very good with Kronos, Gaia, Uranus. But since then, I think he's really expanded his repertoire, and he's a pretty formidable player on many different gods. So I'm excited to see how he's going to go here. But what I'm more excited in is, what is Grass going to actually do here? Already, I want to go ahead and say there is the slightest of mistakes. I think a lot of Norse players are making this mistake. It's a very, very natural thing. It makes very, very little sense to not do this. But every little bit of favor is around about worth 10 resources, especially in the early game for Norse. What people think is, I want to skip shooting these animals such that I get an extra second or 2 of gather time. If I take 2 villages to shoot down 1 gazelle, it's going to take me about 2 to 4 seconds, right? Let's call it 4 food. But I get myself a favor. So that's the trade-off. I'm losing a tiny bit of food, but I get myself a favor. If I kill off every single one of these gazelle here, I'm getting myself in the early game 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 8. I think it's 4 favor just from that early little bit of gazelle. If you also then use Great Hunt on it, you're getting yourself another 4-ish favor. So you can get yourself like 8 favor off of your starting hunt, which is kind of crazy. And then you've also got 8 chickens over here, which is going to be another 8 favor. And you can do a lot of really, really nice stuff here. But Grass, maybe not aware of it, maybe is, but just wants to get that extra food instead, not really valuing favor early game. But nonetheless, he's getting his temple up and getting himself sorted to kick this game off. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've already got a second monument up, the temple to come down as well here for Tiger Boss. So it's going to be some favor shenanigans. Now, I don't think it's a bad idea to go for Da here. I don't think it's a bad idea to go for Bast here. I think both can work. It just depends on what your style is, as we're going to be seeing Grass going for a relatively, I would say it's a relatively slow Freya, 4:15 rather than the 4-minute advance time. He doesn't have himself pickaxe, so he's just decided I'm just going to go one villager later because I want to have that little bit of extra resources in the bank. Nonetheless, I am now realizing that I didn't do my predictions. Let's get that sorted out. Rapple 1, and now we'll do a prediction. We'll just do a prediction for the entirety of the series, guys. And we'll do that right now as we've got Grass and Tiger Boss, as we've got ourselves a little cheeky pause. And you guys can go at it. Have at it, guys. But nonetheless, yeah, just a little bit of a strange one here. Not sure exactly what's going on generally when people pause. It's because they're having some sort of technical difficulty. So we'll have to wait and see what that's going to be. And we're back to the races here, guys, as the game's going to continue along. So it is going to be Bast. And it is going to be most likely some sort of a classical fight here with Sphinx. Meanwhile, we've got the Herser probably already starting to come out over here, grabbing that girdle of Hippolyta to get extra hit points on the ranged soldiers. There is the relic at the top as well. Blue crystal shard there, getting an extra little bit of gold and wood. So some very nice relics as... Excuse me, I got no water. As the Valkyrie... Off to the races now. Going to be looking for a little bit of something here. To get some nice early game damage in. Just got a barracks to come up. 2 barracks on the way here. For one Tiger Boss the Great. As he says, it's going to be Sphinx, it's going to be Axeman, and it's going to be all-out aggression. Meanwhile, we've got a double Great Hall to come through, and we do see the Great Hunt on the front. So there is a little bit of time here for Grass before anything starts coming across the map. Considering what this strategy is, I genuinely think it's actually a good idea to be going into Valkyrie here as fast as you possibly can. Your opponent's going to be making Sphinx... Axeman, you make Valkyrie, Herser, raiding cavalry. Live the dream. We are seeing some spearmen coming through. So Tiger Boss is a little bit overly cautious of the presence of raiding cavalry here nice and early. Normally we see mostly just Axemen to kick the game off. But we'll see how things go as Cryo Sphinx comes in, and soon after this, it's going to be the Haruko Sphinx as another one. And it's all going to be the big spammage as the Valkyrie just going to get a little bit of scouting action in just to confirm what's happening, because there are some other sort of brands of Bast shenanigans. It's not all just spam infantry units, spam Sphinx. It can be fast second town center. It can be fast heroic. We actually watched Joe do a fast second town center classical fight with the Sphinx Sphinx barracks army as well. So there's a lot of different sort of angles to go with as just a little bit of a fight up the top as the Berserker are going to go at it. A little bit of greedy here from Grass to stay put, but he does have he actually doesn't have the speed advantage because he doesn't have Hall of Thanes. So this Berserk might end up falling here as he does decide to take this fight. The Valkyrie on top of the Sphinx early game here. This is really nice, getting huge amounts of damage here. But Tiger Boss got to be a little bit careful. He does manage to pull that one as the Valkyrie going to be going down. Time to pull back. Now there's enough favor for another Valkyrie. He can heal up his own one. and get back home. As the wall's now coming up all across, he does manage to snipe a Sphinx on the bottom here as well. Really nice find there. As the walls will be completing, and he's going to be able to secure a gold mine on this side as well. Do we actually see the Valkyrie? I don't think we did. Still no Valkyrie to come in, but he's got the favor for one. And he can heal up his other Valkyrie here if need be. As we're also going to be seeing the same sort of situation over here for Tiger Boss. Getting the Tiger Boss Cryo Sphinx back up to full HP. Market to come down. More Spearmen for Tiger Boss as well. Looks like he's not actually being as overly aggressive as we were seeing from the Rappel earlier in the, what was it? Isis versus Loki matchup. There's a Longhouse to come down for grass as well. Second Valkyrie in. He's got to heal up that other Valkyrie. Can't let that Valkyrie be at half HP. It's such a vital instrument in any sort of potential success. There we go. Any sort of potential success that can come for the Odin side, for the Norse side of things here. And now we see Dizzablot. This technology is really, really powerful. Extra 50% bonus, 50% melee attack. When this guy's already got this lady, this warrior woman. She's got 14 damage per attack. It's 11.7. But then you add a 50% onto that, it starts getting very, very out of control very, very quickly for random Sphinx on the map. And then you can also give the Valkyrie Thundering Hooves. And then all of a sudden, you're actually able to chase down... Wait. Am I crazy? You can chase down the Sphinx anyways at normal Valkyrie. So this is a really, really nice thing here for grass at the moment. But Locust, not Locust, Sobek coming through. Part of me thought that these Sphinx were at 6+ speed, but they're only at 5.8 speed, so they're not even that quick. There's a house to come down on this side here for grass, and he is just ready to start claiming the map. As the idea here for Tiger Boss is heroic age, and then get a gold mine, and then be in a good spot. But grass here, he's not going to the next age. He's staying in the classical age. He is going to be looking for a huge amount of pressure on a second gold mine here. He's got the medium cavalry queued up, more buildings. We've got a market to come down as well. There's no armory there up for grass, so this will unlock his heroic age. But realistically speaking, there's not like a huge amount of need to go to the heroic age for grass. Obviously getting there for Skadi, having Frost for Eclipse can be really nice so that you can get the units in the right position to kill off those Sphinx and then break through the army. But yeah, I don't think he doesn't really need it right now. But we'll see what he's actually going to go for. Slowly starting to creep up with the food and the gold in the back. Tiger Boss going to be moving forward as the villagers are going to be looking for somewhere to put a Migdol stronghold down. As over onto this side, those raiding cavalry are going to be searching for villagers. He gets a little bit unlucky to not spot this over here on the back. But I mean, why would anybody be on, what are they called? On Crown Cranes. Terrible amount of food. Terrible food stores. Nonetheless, the village is moving forward. Tiger Boss, a little bit of a mistake. They're grabbing some wood. Needs to drop them all over into that mining camp there to drop it in. Does he notice it? Oh, no. He does not notice it here. Oh, dear. He's going to be pulling all the way back into the main base. They're now pulling forward. And he doesn't even get to drop it off into the mining camp because he didn't help with that one. As the Sphinx onto this side, getting caught out. These huge locusts to come through, getting a big amount of damage. The villagers will need to move here. Looks like Grass not paying attention. There he goes. He pulls through. There he goes. Doesn't lose anything. One Sphinx falls. The other three are going to be retreating back. As Skadi is being clicked up. And I think Grass has gotten through the worst of it in terms of big timings. He's got himself a nice gold mine on the bottom here secured. The next big sort of problem, so to speak, for the Odin to deal with is going to be, well, Heroic Age, Mythic Age, Son of Osiris, that sort of stuff. So if he can force a fight here with Frost, get on top of those myth units, clean everything else up, He's going to be able to avoid that. Mini Yeti's saying this is bugged. I don't believe it's bugged because I do it every single game with Egyptian. It's definitely not bugged. Can't be bugged. There's no way. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Oh, and now Tiger Boss, he is going for the shenanigans here. Grass doesn't see it. He's not going to notice it. The walls are up. The rock drops down. Grass not paying attention. Oh, hello? And, just going to be leaving. Okay, he needs to come back over and actually take a fight, it looks like. Not happily being on that other side there. As the army does decide to turn around. Lots of units missing here for Tiger Boss as he's going to be retreating back. He can't really run in to this rock here and retreat. Eclipse to get dropped down. Could be a Frost here if he wants to, and he does decide in that moment there to drop the Frost. Now, Frost will leave a little bit of time here for Eclipse on the end of this. However, what you want to do right now, if you're Grass, if you can, is just grab all of his Hersa and then move him onto the Sphinx. We'll be able to snipe down that other Sphinx on the back as that one's going to be making a run for it. Another idea here, there's no shifting sand so you can't pull away, but another idea here could be to run into the rock and get away from here. There's the Sphinx here for the Harako Sphinx to come, for Tiger Boss here to come through. Going to snipe that down. More units powering through here as Tiger Boss going to attempt to take this fight. It's a pretty close one in terms of military here, but I think unit quality wise, this is way more in favor of Grass at the moment, as he's going to be able to snipe down all the Sphinx, kill off all of those infantry units, and it looks to me like Grass has found himself the first really big victory in this game. Tiger Boss here can still maybe delay, maybe pull himself back in. He can retreat off this position, sneak over onto this gold mine for a little bit, maybe over onto this gold mine here, and try and macro up another army here. So throwing axemen, they're going to be able to kill off those spearmen so quickly. No slingers in at the moment here for Tiger Boss, so he's not going to be able to kill off that back line, and the front line here is just going to melt to the thrown axemen as Grass claims a very quick 15 minutes victory in this game on Elysium. Solid play here from Grass. Tiger Boss tried to make it happen. I don't think he needed to really force anything here. He had the jump on this. On this gold, he could have killed the units off. He could have ran back with his other dudes and tried to like split his army up, do a whole bunch of other things. But he kind of went straight down the line, and Grass was there. Really nice defense, great heroic timing, good usage of the Shield Maiden Valkyrie. Great play here with the Odin. Manages to take out that Bast strategy. We'll move into game number 2 and see if Tiger Boss can figure it out here. Game number 2. We are here, and it is on Ghost Lake. As we've already seen Grass going in with Norse once in this series. He's going in with it again. I definitely think that Grass, he's basically been a Norse main, I would say. Obviously plays all the gods, but he's definitely been like a Norse player since the start of Retold. He also played Norse on Legacy as well, mind you. But he was kind of playing all the gods in Legacy as well. But it's cool to see his Norse chapter really coming full throttle here in this one on the map Ghost Lake. Meanwhile, we're going to be watching Tiger Boss here actually going in with Fuxi right now. So we've got one of those Chinese gods. Drops the Peach Blossom Spring at the back of his base. Just going to be expanding out his favored land ever so slightly here. Keeping it safe. We're keeping it out of sight, out of mind. There's 2 ways to drop this. One is to drop it on top of your town center and just have a nice little bit there. The other one is obviously to get yourself an extra little bit of favor. So it's a bit of a no-brainer when it comes to putting it out onto the side of the base here. But there is a little bit of shenanigans where maybe you might want to just have those safe resources underneath your town so that you don't have to really deal with. Nonetheless, we got people having some fun in the chat. There's no with this thing. There's no like order. The last one that's there is what happens. So looks like it's back. But nonetheless, Tiger Boss here. We'll see what he's going to go for. I'm really interested because the Chinese are very, 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 very new. And the Chinese are very, very new, and the strategies are very, very like unexplored. It's going to probably take. It's probably going to take like several months for this Chinese Civ to actually start to feel like people really know what they're doing with it on like a deep level. It's kind of simple to play a god, learn a strategy, and try and execute that strategy, but having like a very like in-depth knowledge of strategy, of potential, of timing, of like min-maxing defense and things like that is very, very difficult to like get to that point. So it's going to take a while, but we'll see what Tiger Boss has got cooking up for us as Grass. He's going to be going through Forseti. Doesn't want to go through Freya. Freya makes some sense because one of the real power parts of the Chinese is their archers are really good against infantry. Like, obviously archers beat infantry, but the Chinese archers are all counter infantry in a really big way. It's the Pioneer looking to get some early game pressure on at the moment. In fact, Grass didn't even go for an armory here. He says, I'm going to advance nice and quick. I'm going to be ready to kill off your Pioneer and kill off your early pressure. He's taking a little bit of damage. I mean, it's a bit of a later advance time. It looks like a 345 here. You can go for 315. You can go for 330. There's lots of different options with Thor, but he does decide the 345 option as he drops a longhouse down, and he's completely safe here. And we're going to be seeing Tiger Boss dropping the second town center. The second town center is now in for Tiger Boss, which will mean that Grass, because Grass is gone for, or does he know? Maybe he knows. No, Great Hall. Because Grass hasn't gone for any early armory, this sort of a far second town center for Tiger Boss is going to sting just that little bit more than it otherwise might. Just because those villages are a little bit further behind you would normally be. But Grass has got himself fully defended up at the moment. The Chi Yo Yatsu is going to just retreat back. And we'll see how things are going to go. But the second town center is up. Village is up onto this boar over here. One of the reasons why I was saying that, you know, Freya actually makes some sense against China, for like more so than anything else, is because China really struggles with food, especially on two town centers. But even not so, they struggle with food income because they have, well, their villages are very, 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 very weak. Let's have a quick look here. 0.8 food a second. That's 20% slower than a Greek villager on food. Plus, their big villages, which give them a huge amount of extra income on gold and wood, don't really help that food situation. And you're going to need that to deal with cavalry and halberdiers. So, yeah, going in with early raiding cavalry does make some sense. But we aren't going to be seeing that. We're going to be seeing more of the infantry approach from Grass. And we'll see how things are going to go. Dow with upgrades lose versus base berserks. I've actually got no idea. No idea. Dow swordsmen are more of a tank than anything else. They're not really meant to do damage. They're not really meant to take damage. They do some damage, obviously, but they're more of a tank. So a front line for your really powerful archers, as far as I'm concerned. But nonetheless, Tiger Boss on this forward position here. Is he going for a heroic age behind this? I think he might be. The thing is, with Fuxi, you have access to Rusho, I believe, which gives access to the god power, Fey Beasts. And Fey Beasts, if used really, really well, can absolutely erase an army. but it has to be used really well. It's not as broken as it was on launch. It's now does require a little bit more care with the cast. We were seeing a villager getting sniped. A nice little play here for Grass as he is ready to start putting pressure all over, everywhere and anywhere. There's the machine workshop up onto the back. He needs to get those archers in to defend. Now, Grass, he is playing into this mass archer idea. There was a game that we watched in the qualifiers. I'll give you go back and watch it if you haven't. Zooked versus Super FM, where Super FM went for a very big one town center all in, and it was effectively just very much put to bed. Like, Zook completely held it until he threw his position. So I imagine Grass knows that line is a little bit risky, and he's going to be going for a delayed second town center here. He still doesn't have an armory up, so no extra dwarves coming through just yet, but at some point I'm sure he's going to drop that armory, and he's going to get a big amount of upgrades, and he's going to be having a good time of it. As Grass grabs himself Feather of Jingwei, which does give 0.5 wood per second over to the Norse economy here. But he is significantly behind on villagers at the moment. But it's not really that simple. I think the big difficulty that's going to be coming for Grass, given the way that he's playing this game, is going to be how does he deal with Nejar, and how does he deal with John Wick in the Mythic Age. Yes, I said John Wick. He's not John Wick, but he is John Wick in my eyes. John Wick in the Mythic Age. There is some very, very powerful Mythic Age resources, units, whatever you want to call it, for Fushi. And we are actually seeing something interesting here for Tiger Boss. He's going in with Gormang, as this is... I like this god. I think this is like the bread and butter of defensive Chinese gameplay. You get access to forest protection, makes the position really difficult to push in on, and all the good stuff that comes there. Well, the other option is Nubar. Was I wrong? I'm totally wrong. He doesn't have it. Never mind. I thought he had Rusho. Well, you can forgive me. I've seen many Fey Beasts in my time, and I was just assuming that everyone has it. Nonetheless, it's going to be Gormang. Apologies for how much knowledge I have. Obviously not enough. But Bragi now queued up as well. Grass is chasing nicely here, but because Tiger Boss has gotten away with a fast heroic without the necessity to spam a whole bunch of fire archers, he's going to be able to go straight into Chuko Nu, which are really, really powerful. The Chuko Nu are so good at dealing with infantry units, and even dealing with Huskal if you have the front line as well. They can take those out quite nicely too. He's also got himself access to the Peach Blossom Spring, and he's already gathered it a little bit. A little bit of a mistake here from Tiger Boss. I don't think he meant to, but nonetheless, he's actually lost a lot of resources on that. But he's got that Peach Blossom Spring here, which can help him get to the Mythic Age really quickly, dropping a ballet in his main base. And I think Grass is going to be knowing what's coming for him. Great Flood. Oh, it's not Great Flood. Huang Di is probably the more logical option. The more logical option for the Tiger Boss in this position. A Flying Dragon against Norse, who's got doesn't really want to be building those Godi against Fushi. But nonetheless, we'll see what's going to happen here as he does jump over onto the Peach Blossom Spring. He's got that gold income coming through. We do have the units poking up over here, checking on this gold mine. I think Grass here, if he wants to be really aggressive, and I love this, if he wants to be really aggressive, drop a hill fort on this front, prevent that gold mine from getting grabbed. We come through with all of his dudes, and this is a... Oh, never mind. He's going for Gong Gong. I'm a little bit surprised to see that. I think Gong Gong is completely fine as a god, but in this specific situation, Huang Di makes a lot of sense. Huang Di makes a lot of sense because you're going to be able to slow down the enemy army such that your Chuko Nu can basically kill off everything. Raiding Cavalry, not a problem. Berserk's not a problem. Hersa, not a problem. Throw an Axeman, not a problem. Literally any unit that the Thor player is going to build, with the exception of Godi, are going to be very, very easy to deal with, utilizing that special ability. But we're not seeing that. We're going to be seeing Gong Gong instead. And Tiger Boss here has finished up on his Peach Blossom Spring. He's got 0 gold income at the moment. He can't have access to this gold mine because of the Hill Fort. And he needs to make some sort of a push out of his base. Right now, market for Grass, he hasn't done any trading. We haven't seen any trading for Tiger Boss either. And Grass is ready to start putting the pressure on. One other thing, I guess, that comes through here very, very quickly for Tiger Boss is the Nejar. Does he have it? I don't think he's actually built it. It gets more expensive if you wait on this. But the Nejar and the John Wick, this guy right here. As Tiger Boss's town center going to go down, and Grass says, I will take this. Because if he takes this, he's securing this gold mine even more so. Tiger Boss going to be grabbing himself celestial weapons. Oh. Another idea here could be rushing straight up to... We haven't seen it yet. Rushing straight up to third tier pioneers, which have got access to those exploding sky lanterns, which, I mean, I've only really had experience with it in the campaign, so, but it sounds good. But nonetheless, we're going to see the Qinglongs. I imagine he's going to go for a lot of those. Gets himself Tempestuous Storm. He's got a lot of wood in the bank to pump out the Qinglong. He's got himself 73 favor here as well. But doesn't really need the gold at the moment, as he's going for siege crossbows, more Imperial Canomies to come through here as well. Still not getting those heroes out. That's the one thing that I'm like slightly worried for Grass about. I know that they're really powerful. I know that they are incredibly difficult to deal with. And especially for melee units as well. When you got a lot of range units with high base damage, it's fine. But Norse doesn't really have that, do they? So you see Vibrant Land coming through. Any attempt at anything, it looks there's our dude, Yang Jiang, also known as John Wick the second. Can be coming in and going to become a bit of a problem here. As the siege crossbow now going to be poking its head over here onto this position. It's 115 population versus 205, but there is Great Flood. We also see Shaker of Heaven coming in, which is going to make those heroes get more bonus damage versus myth units, as well as a little bit of extra HP. So raiding cavalry poke their head in only to say, "Let me out of here! I don't want to deal with any of this." So Godi come in, and they will start sniping some Deuterinos in as Nejar, scary man with his burning fire trail of doom on the back. But Grass is just saying, "Man, if you're going to give me the entirety of the map, I will just take it." He's got himself 1 town center, 2 town center, 3 town center, 4 town center, eventually 5 town centers to 1 he can go up to here. It's now Yang Xiang and Nejar. And look at that damage coming in. Like, Grass doesn't want to fight this. He's waiting on his Mythic Age. Decides to turn around. Tries to take this guy out as the Great Flood coming through. Can he make it to the town? So the answer is no. As a huge amount of damage to come through. A lot of those units will be able to survive here, but they're very low on the HP as Grass has to pull back. Meanwhile, over here, we've got little bits of raids onto the peasants into this position here. But now Tiger Boss, he really needs some gold. He needs some gold yesterday. Grass like holding all of these positions nicely. But Mythic Age in. Fimbulwinter going to get clicked onto this position. Going to get a little bit of damage done, but there are going to be some units here to just pick off the wolves. But a whole bunch of wolves spawning all over the base here. Part of me feels like going for Ragnarok here was actually the better call. Maybe it's a one-way ticket to just throwing, but clicking Ragnarok and just straight into the main base, killing everything off. That's not really enough to defend it. Anyways, grass here. Gonna have to deal with a couple more Qinglongs. As the army of the 2 heroes of Doom will take down this hill fort relatively quickly. Grass has got to be somewhat aware that he has to deal with these bad boys and prevent this gold mine from getting grabbed. This town center has fallen. John Wick would solo Rag? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Hill fort to come up for grass on the front here. Nice, the villagers to come through for Tiger Boss. Finally gets himself a gold mine. He's now gotten himself a decent amount of population. He's managed to survive the gold starve, but he's still got a long ways to go here to kind of secure the position, get this gold mine, get himself his 3rd town center. Grass is playing this incredibly slow, which, I mean, I am worried for him just because I know how powerful these heroes are. They're so strong. Let's take a little look-see at the HP of the damage. 788, 36.3, 25.9, 3.6 divine damage per second. It's a lot. And this guy heals himself up, basically to full HP with its special ability. So you have to kill him very, very quickly. While that special is down, you have to kill him. This Berserker gang to come through, bronze shields, a whole bunch more units to come in. One idea here for Grass is to just run forward with a Goatee first. Keep his units on the back here. As he does decide it's time to charge. As there's the lightning weapons. It's never a good idea to take a fight against lightning weapons. It's so powerful. As the Qinglong going to be pulling back, but there's a lot of units here for Grass to get the damage done. As those Shukonu on the back here ending up falling. We see the... Wow! He drops down. Watch him and you get what's it called? Forest protection on this position as Yang Jiang manages to survive with that special ability for just a little bit longer. There's going to be more reinforcements to come in here very, very shortly as the Qinglong coming back through to try and hold here. Yang Jiang still alive at the end of that fight. There's 80 HP. 80 HP and a dream. Could have sniped the silo to get rid of this forest protection god power, but didn't do it. Now he has to remacro up an army and try and go at it again. Taking a look at the armory upgrades. There's none for Tiger Boss. None. Tiger Boss, getting that damage done was pretty good because it's going to slow down. So Grass getting that damage is pretty good because it's going to slow down Tiger Boss. As he's running back in with a whole bunch of these Goatee. Generally, I don't think that this amount of Goatee is a good idea, but given that these Qinglong are so strong, seems like it's not too bad. Meanwhile, I'm not exactly sure where John Wick went, but not in this fight anymore. As the Goatee going to be cleaning everything else up. More units to come in. There's the Nejar. John Wick is now on the way. The Nejar dies pretty quickly here. You see him going down. He's not the problem child. There's one Qinglong to fall. A second Qinglong to fall. A third Qinglong to fall here. And now Grass says time for Hill Fort. As the Yang Jiang is in. Look at this guy go! Just get a nice little close up here as he's just smacking everything down. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. But the hill forts are up and it's almost like Grass is just saying, I'm just gonna it's fine, I don't care about this guy. He's fine. It's just let him, like, he's unkillable. It's fine. We'll just, yeah, back up. Yeah, it's fine. We're going this way. We're going to kill you over here. I'm surprised he didn't kill off the silo. Maybe he can't see it. Is that true? No, you can see the green, I think. But nonetheless, Tigerbot's there. Does decide to tap out. Grass goes on to be the victor of this best of 3 here. With some incredibly solid play. Just literally calm, collected. Sees what Tigerbots is doing and says, this just doesn't work. I can just take full control of the map and then I will be completely fine here. And Tigerbots here are not able to make it happen. But a well-played game by Grass. We've got the losers coming up for you very, very shortly. Not sure who's playing just yet, but we're going to be checking those out next. I know that EGCTV is doing them as well, but I'm going to hang around and watch them as well. So we'll move on to those next. GG. And we are back with game number 1 in this elimination game. We're in the playoffs now. This is the losers best of 3, I believe. So you lose 2 games and you're out. 2 games. Can't lose 2. Have to win 2. Can't lose 2. In the bottom of the map, we've got Super FM. He dropped to Rappel earlier in a pretty close 2-1 series. Nullus, on the other hand, he is going in with Thor. And he dropped to Recon, I believe. I didn't get to capture or cast that game. So hashtag spoilers. But for those wanting to watch that, it was on EGCTV, so you can check that game out there. I might cast it through the week, I don't know, but we'll see how things are going to go. Nonetheless, we have seen quite a bit of this Norse versus Ra, Norse versus Isis shenanigans thus far in this tournament as... yeah, we've been seeing the Bast Sphinx have some success and some success and some failures, to be honest. A little bit of both. So definitely a possibility to break through the Sphinx. But yeah, very, very interesting to see how... Like, there tends to be this thing that happens, especially when there's closed off practice sessions amongst top players. The strategies players use, they kind of circulate. Like the top players, they kind of think that they're being kind of clever, hiding their strategies and stuff in their custom games. But if you play custom games only against one person, that's when you can hide your strategies. But as soon as you start playing them against several different people, which I know that a lot of these guys are doing, I've talked to them, the strategies, they circulate. And you end up getting this really weird kind of meta that's created inside of just this group of players. So I wouldn't be surprised if like someone like Chemo, who plays more ladder sort of preparation for tournaments, he wouldn't be inside of this meta. If he picks Ra, maybe he wouldn't go for the Sphinx in this matchup. He'd go for something a little bit different. I don't really know. But I think that that's kind of what's happening. So Nullus, I'm not sure exactly if he's inside that circle of like it's a big circle of like top players playing each other to try and get an edge in their competition. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see how he's going to go. I'm really excited for Nullus to be back. He had a little bit of a hiatus when Retold came out. Had some other things he had to get sorted, but he's back playing, and he's always been one of the best that's done it in Age of Mythology just in general. And I'm sure that given enough time, he's going to be able to do some really, really good stuff. Nonetheless, Super FM is the challenge here, and Super FM has already got himself 2 monuments. He's going to be going for a 3rd monument fairly shortly as well, as we see this Bast coming through, so no surprises there. 4 SETI for Nullus. We did watch Grass dismantle Tigerbot's Bast with Freya, but it was with Odin. There is some sort of rhyme to the reason of potentially going for Freya in order to have those Valkyrie to shut the Sphinx down. If you don't have the Valkyrie, you don't have the speed to deal with the Sphinx raids, and then all of a sudden you're sort of caught out of position and life can get a little bit tricky. But we'll see what's going to happen here. As, I mean, Nullus, he knows what's coming for him. There's no, like, when you're playing against someone like Super FM, he's a very powerful player, but he has his style, and he's going to go for this pretty much regardless of what happens. So we'll see how it's going to go. He's only gone for, there's that third monument up already, as the Berserk here bashing away at a house. Getting a little bit of damage done, but there's the advance time, and Nullus pulls back immediately there. Kind of like he knew it was going to be a 5-minute advance time, as the Sphinx is going to be trying to chase down the Berserk, and we'll be able to catch up to it, but it will be a little bit dangerous here, as a Herso can come and greet this out in the middle of the map, doing damage onto this bad boy. I doubt that it dies, but it might, especially now that the snaring has happened. 4.1 speed here. Goes back up to 4.8, catches back up, and now the Herso are going to come through. Super Fim not going to be able to keep chasing as he gets sent back home. Cryo Sphinx on the way. Axeman kind of come through. And I guess we'll see what's going to sort of eventuate here. Is Nullus has just gone Longhouse. Great Hall. He's going to be making himself nothing at the moment. I do think that there is 100% a strategy here of a fast heroic. He's making a couple of raiding cavalry though. I definitely think there's a fast heroic here. Get watchtowers, make Hersa, make like 5 to 10 Hersa, eat all your berries, eat all your chickens, eat all your goats, get to the heroic age, and you've got Dwarven Mine to place in your main base, Frost, and then you can go for Goaty, and that kills off pretty much everything. Apparently I'm butchering the pronunciation of Super FM. His name is Afim. Super is super, and Afim is Afim. Afim, Afim. I don't know. Afim. Afim. Anyways. Another great haul to come up as the units are poking in here. Gotta be so careful with these units here for Super FM at the moment, because these guys can just come around the side. As you do have the watchtowers to come through, the Axemen are going to get sent packing. And we'll see how things are going to go here. There's one great haul going to be getting picked off, fighting against these towers, with one Sphinx actually taking the damage. Not going to be that big of a deal here as Nullus pushes forward. There's the Eclipse. And Nullus just going to retreat back into his main base here. The villagers are going to need to potentially jump underneath the town center, but it looks like maybe Super FM clicked the button a little bit too early here. There's not that many Hersa as he pushes around onto the side. Unit's going to be pulling back. Does manage to get a little bit of damage done onto the side here, but the Sphinx pulls away fast enough there. Going to be able to get just a little bit more damage, and he does have that healing spring. Dwarves idle for the time being. Moving up to the top gold mine. Does Super FM see that one? Yes, he does. A little bit dangerous there for Nullus. It might be going south for him very, very shortly in this game. Military differential. A little bit in favor of the Ra player here, as he's going to be breaking down the watchtower. A couple more houses to come in. So those Sphinx now going to split off here. And Nullus has got no idea that this is coming. He will be spotting it now, though, as the army coming in to defend. Going to be trying to greet this one with those raiding cavalry. Raiding cavalry actually aren't that bad to just tank a little bit of hits from the Sphinx. But the army now coming through. It's going to be a whole bunch of slings in the back. Hersa as well, but Nullus says it's just all raiding cavalry all the way. There are a handful of berserks here as well, as the Sphinx now heading off to the top position. Hersa splitting off on this army here to try and take this fight. We'll be able to get a little bit of damage in as Can Super FM win here or not is the big question. These are very, very powerful raiding cavalry at the moment as the Hursa coming around onto the back, picking one unit off. Those Axemen are still very powerful, but it looks like Nullis's control here is just that little bit too good. As we see in the main base, the Dwarven Gold Mine to come down. The Axemen still very much alive and well. And it looks like Super FM takes the pain on this fight as the raiding cavalry is still pushing forward here. A couple more Hursa to get created. Nullis has got to be careful here. Lots and lots of favor in the bank. Needs to start getting into those trolls. Has 8 villagers on wood, which might be enough. Still taking these fights here against the really quick production of Egyptian is a little bit dangerous as one Sphinx getting chased around, but I don't think that Nullis is caring about this at the moment. He feels like he's got the advantage, pulling back in, sniping a couple more units. Differential on military is close, and Nullis holds. Nullis holds. Nullis can now move out into the center to grab the Gazelle. Dwarven Mine going to get mined up there as well. And now the Trolls to start coming through. Really, really solid play from Nullis thus far. On this side here for Super FM, he's got himself his 3 barracks up. He's got some Sphinx to come through as well. There's a granary getting put up on the left side here. Just to grab a little bit more hunt. But now the middle gold mine is open. A whole bunch of Trolls plus raiding cavalry plus throw an Axeman or Berserk, so just a whole bunch of units. Go into the Heroic Age, also an option. So raiding cavalry are looking to hit some villages here. They do not have themselves the Skin of the Rhino technology here as he charges in. Going to be taking some damage. Now they do have a relic. What's the relic? They got this one. Staff of Dionysus. Getting a little bit of HP back, but it's not going to help him. This one's going to get held back up to full HP pretty quickly, but nice raid there for Nullis as he's going to be getting a bit more of an economic lead. Look at the difference on economy here. No villagers really have been killed by Super FM yet. So Nullis is just 10 villages in front after that one raid. As he's pushing onto this left side, got to be really careful. That's a very scary Egyptian army here. As Nullis, he's going after the villagers. Turns around, can pick off those Sphinx here as he gets caught out ever so slightly. But the Hursa to go after the Axemen. This is a really, really difficult fight now for Nullis to take. As those Axemen clean these units up really, really quickly. He's going to make a break for it down to the side here. Does manage to get a couple of shots off onto a Sphinx and then retreats away. But does take 2 Hursa losses for it. As Nullis has got to pull back. This game is still very much in the balance. A market buying food, Mythic Age. This is the big thing here for Nullis here, but he doesn't have the market. He has to retreat back. There is going to be enough for another gold mine here. Is Cave Troll in? We don't see the Cave Troll just yet. A very, very important technology to hold against any sort of attacks that come anytime soon. As the Hursa to come back, they can bash down that obelisk if they want. And now, I imagine Super FM's next port of call here is just to say, well, I guess I just better keep attacking. They might just be able to sit back on this, but being behind by so many villages is not going to be easy. Nullis has got to spend his resources. He's got a lot of gold in the bank. Bit of a market, bit more food, bit more wood, spend it all. 53 favor as well is really, really eating him up at the moment. Compared with what Super FM is doing, Super FM is keeping his macro very, very in line here. Great spending of resources. Lots and lots of raiding cavalry in queue as well now for Nullis. As he does send those units. They're packing with the trolls, but he didn't have the cave troll technology. It's a little bit of a loss there as the army to fight at the moment. Throwing Axeman on the back, you're going to start getting targeted down by those slingers. As the Hursa pulling around the back here, trying to snipe off Sphinx pretty well, but it's looking like the army here for Super FM might just be that little bit too powerful here, as Nullis does not have the production to spend his economic advantage here. It's now Nullis to retreat back into the main base, and He's got to run. He runs off this gold mine. He's up onto this position. He's still got this gold mine on this side, but just a little bit left. But he needs more buildings. He needs to get himself up to full population here. Or Heroic Age Frost to buy him some time. He's just literally just clicking everything at the moment. Trying to spend his resources. Let's get a nice little fight over here to send Super FM back. Super FM, on the other hand, he's looking to go Heroic Age himself here. As the army comes through, can retreat through the wooden gate here. But then the gate's going to die. The dwarves have to retreat back into the main base. He can drop another dwarven mine in his main base for another 1,000 gold. And that's exactly what he's going to be going for. There's more great halls to come through. Houses to go down on this side as well, as Nullus is very much getting starved here. His villagers on this bottom side here to jump down onto these gold mines is going to be vital moving forward in this game. Some more houses to come through. It's just no favor now, as the trolls now getting clicked up. He lost all of the trolls in the earlier fight, not really waiting on that, or not getting the cave troll fast enough, meaning that they lost out on a lot of really significant damage. For those of you who don't know, that the cave troll here does 100% of base for that special, which is a crazy boost. As the Sphinx chasing, he can definitely just turn around and fight this, as he does decide to do so. Super FM realizing he got caught out there, tries to pull away, but he can't push through those raiding cavalry, as both the Sphinx ending up falling there. But he's still got to be careful with the raiding cavalry, not paying attention, running straight past this army here. Huge amount of damage to come through as he retreats back the other way. And now Nullus on the front here can start pushing forward. Somebody's onto this gold mine here, coming in to grab the gazelle on this side as well. As I'm sure Super FM's spidey senses are going to start tingling to come and hit that right hand side of the map. There's the troll there. Going to clean up another Sphinx. Villagers to come up and grab a talent center as the Locust gets dropped down. It's so much damage here onto those. They're all dying. The throwing axe is getting absolutely erased here, as Nullus now has to turn around and take this fight with all of his units on basically half HP. Can he hold here or not? There's so many throwing axemen as the Sphinx to dive in onto this backside. Priest dying on the back here as well, as Nullus has been playing a good game up until this point, but it's looking like it might be too much. He's still got plenty of income. He's still got the villager lead here, so he can get a big amount of units out and try and macro himself back into this game. But Super Fim grabbing this town center, that's going to be huge. He doesn't have to overcommit here. There's gold mines he can push off on the bottom side of the map if he wants to go down there. I'm sure the rock is going to get sent over onto that side soon to just check things out, as he does come down there. And Nullus kind of, I mean, he's definitely going to be a little bit terrified at the moment. He needs to produce more units to protect his gold mine, but now he's going to be up against a 190 population Heroic Age classical army here. Sorry, so Heroic Age classical army. Heavy barracks army, which is still going to be very tough to kill off. More longhouses to come down as the Sphinx having a very good hard look at this gold mine over here, as one Sphinx will be making its way onto that right-hand corner there. And there's also now Petsukos to join in, as Nullus says it's time to take the fight. The troll's getting some good damage done, throwing axemen. Good numbers to try and deal with those spearmen, as the Sphinx will come in and hit those villagers on the bottom. And Priest to come forward and try and snipe down the trolls on the side here, but trying to snipe them down with the throwing axemen. Can Nullus hold it together here? It's looking like his chances in this game are slowly starting to fall, as the Sphinx will get shanked down. Nice reactions from Nullus. Over on this side, however, the villagers will be getting cleaned up. But the Slingers here not managing to hold their own, it looks like. The Troll's doing a great job in this game to try and keep himself alive. The population's still a little bit of an edge here for Super FM as the units are just not quite all in here. We've got some mercenary cavalry to come in and clean up the Throwing Axeman as well. An interesting decision. Very expensive, but very, very strong it looks like here. As Nullus pulling back into his base yet again. And now another Sphinx to come through here to clean these guys up. More trolls getting queued up as well. It's looking very, very difficult for Nullus moving forward in this game. Some mercenary cavalry on the front. They will be falling
Into you.
to their own lifespan. More trolls to come through. These villagers on this bottom side falling as well. The villager advantage now. Super Effims as he's getting very close to full population. He's on 2 town centers. He's got everything he needs here. Sneaking this gold mine is big though for Nullus. Nullus has made a career in tournament on sneaking gold mines to win games that he has no business winning. He's got the food to go to Heroic Age. Does not have the gold. And I'm sure he's going to be wanting to click up to that next stage as soon as he possibly can. Dealing with this army without having a full population Norse army is going to be very, very tricky. Great Hall's up in the center of the map here. He's going to get caught out of position as Super Effim now walking straight across the map here. Sees this army. The trolls here, very scary, however. He does run forward. Good control there. Pushing in to take out those spearmen. A little bit of a misclick on the... well, mistiming on the special does mean that those spearmen can stay alive for a little bit longer than they otherwise should have. As Nullus is now clicked up, he has Bragi. Part of me feels like Skadi gives him a little bit more of a chance to survive here in this game. As the troll's going down, turns around, getting the damage down. Oh, the deaths from those spearmen, absolutely gigantic there. However, the problem is Nullus doesn't have the answer for the slingers. He needs something to kill off those slingers. He's got a couple of raiding cavalry, but is that going to be enough? Is that going to be enough is the big question. A couple longhouses to come down for Nullus as well. Maybe a whole bunch of... Maybe a whole bunch of berserks here wouldn't go astray. He did go through 4 city. He does have himself... Hall of Fanes. He doesn't have himself the upgrade here, though. Flaming weapons to come through. As the raiding cavalry trying to get in onto this one. Trying to get onto those slingers. The slingers aren't targeting down those Throwing Axemen, so they're getting huge value here. And some villagers on this side trying to drop a tower. As it looks like maybe Nullus is going to be able to find a little bit more life in this game. As the Petsukos going to be falling as well. No heroes at the moment, but all the Petsukos are now out of here. The tower goes down, and Nullus still kicking in this game. Villagers getting pulled back. The military advantage now in Nullus's favor. He's queuing up Godi. He's getting himself raiding cavalry out. Godi beat the Axemen. Raiding cavalry beat the slingers. Godi take out the Petsukos as well, mind you. But he is behind on villager count by a fair amount here, by 20 population. Upgrade-wise as well, let's check out the armory. Nearly full... He's got full bronze. No wonder he was winning on that one against full copper. There's now the raiding cavalry to come up, looking for some villagers to kill. Does he see anything here? He knows there's a gold mine. He's coming around the back, but it's going to get spotted. And the villagers will be running. Nice awareness there. Siege towers to take out some houses over here as a marker gets dropped down. The unit's charging it over onto this spot here. Got to be careful. That's Throwing Axeman. That's good. He can't be throwing away these units here as he does decide now it's time to pull back. Lots of villager kills, however, to come through. There is Skin of the Rhino win. Unique tech to Ra, boosting up that armor there. The battle boars, scary. Raiding cavalry. Retreating back as well. Up onto this side, looking for more raids. Trying to out tempo, outpace Superfim at the moment with all of the action happening. He's got himself heavy infantry as well. No heavy cavalry. Now, there's the heavy cavalry as well, as all of a sudden these units here for Nullus are looking incredibly powerful. Whole bunch of mercenary cavalry to come through and try and assist here. The Patsukos on the back get pulled back nicely, staying alive, and now Nullus has to pull back. This game is so back and forth here. Great raids while this is going on as the villagers getting pulled back. Nullus he's getting a town center as well. I was about to say Nullus needs a second town center. Now he has it. He's going to be able to head up to full population. Hill fort on the middle of the map as well. As the spearmen do manage to take out those raiding cavalry. The next scary thing here, it's scary thing after scary thing after scary thing for in this matchup. The next scary thing is either Osiris, and you have to somehow deal with Son of Osiris, or Horus, and you have to somehow deal with Horus spears, axemen, and all the good stuff that comes with that. As Superfim and Nullus ready to start pushing in yet again. Goaty taking out Patsukos on the back. Slingers not targeting those down at all here, it looks like, as the Patsukos are going to be falling. As those spearmen charging in, we will be seeing the Patsukos falling on the back there as the spearmen are going to be dying. Battle board to come through as well. And it looks like the army is the army differential is very, very close here, ladies and gentlemen. They're mostly slingers versus mostly ranged units here. Looks like Superfin might be able to push back through this, but the amount of infrastructure now up for Nullus is quite a lot. He is now onto this position. He's got access to another gold mine at 3,000 gold. I mean, it's probably worth it to be using that at this point. The villagers coming over onto this gold mine, seeing there's no gold there. Wait. Superfim might be out of gold. Superfim, he's got himself 1,400 gold left. This gold mine is about to be gone. And this gold mine is secured by Nullus. Nullus has got the gold mine advantage moving forward in this game. A couple of berserks over here as well to take down some villagers. I mean, 1,000 gold left on this one. 1,000 on this one. 6,000 over here. 5,000-ish. And Nullus is just trying to mine this out, keeping that away from Superfim. Superfim needs a trade route. He's moving into the corner, the market, but is this too little too late? Is this too little too late? He needs that gold income started in a really, really big way. He's got no access to food-based myth units, wood-based myth units either, as the Ra. Things can get very, very bad for Superfim very, very quickly if he's not careful with his units. Gold mine, Dwarven gold mine gets dropped down in where? In the main base somewhere? Wow, over on this side, what is he doing with that there? As the dwarves are going to come back onto this spot, start mining that one out. The Rock will spot that. With a really big push onto that, maybe he can secure that Dwarven mine for himself. There's a raiding cavalry searching around. The thing is here, Nullus doesn't know how dire the gold situation for Superfim is at the moment. He doesn't know. Continuing to push here is your best bet. He's coming around onto the side, trying to hit these villagers. They just finish up on the gold. You see the spearmen coming up over here, going to try and hit those dwarves. Over onto this side, a couple of units are there. The villagers retreating out past that wood line there. And here come a handful of spearmen. As the berserks get converted to try and hold on to that position there. This game is so tense. Do we see a mythic age? There's no way. He can't get mythic age. What's the market situation? You can sell food, can sell gold. Sorry, sell food, sell wood. Completely fine here. But just a little bit. As berserks do manage to clean up those spearmen on this side, getting a little bit of damage done onto the dwarves. Just, this game is so tense. War Elephant, Siege Tower, Superfim says, I need this position. The army here for Nullus now getting a town center out of position ever so slightly. Spearmen cleaning up raiding cavalry for the moment. That's the sort of trades he needs. So units are going to be coming back over here. Tier queued up. Now coming through. Siege Tower going to be breaking down the hill fort here. Going to be opening up this gold mine. 3,000 gold left in it. Nullus needs to ensure that he's taking really good fights here, but these fights are good for him. We've also got a Herdman to come through and trying to help deal with this, the Goaty, to try and take out the Patsukos. Just one Patsukos down. And now Super FM here, still going to be able to continue to push through here. 2,400 gold. The other thing here is Nullus as well. He's out of gold too. Yes, he's got this Dwarven Gold Mine. Yes, he's got a potential Mythic Age Dwarven Gold Mine, but it's going to cost him 150 favor, and he's not close to that at the moment. And losing this hill fort means the villagers here for Super FM can come forward and grab the gold mine. Now this 3 markets set up is going to be really pumping that trade route. A market on the bottom here to move up to this gold mine is his best bet for the time being here, as both hill forts ending up falling. But Null is forcing fights here. He's got Tia coming. He's got to wait for this Fimbulwinter. This gold mine on the back is about to expire as well. Taking the fight with those thrown axemen, pulling back nicely. Going to be cleaning up that front line beautifully here. The portable ram actually does a decent amount of damage to the siege tower as well, as that one does end up falling. And now Super FM has to pull back as well. Now on top of this, another idea here would be to go for Fenris Wolves, costing only food, spending that favor that way rather than getting the gold in. Might sound crazy, but it might be a good idea. We have Osiris, Osiris is now pre-queued, but he's not close to it. Selling wood, not going to get him much at all. As there's the Mythic Age, there's the Fimbulwinter. A beautiful wolf spawn on the top here to assist the portable ram to take down the Migdol stronghold as well. Not really any answers for that, even though it's only at 60 HP. That's going to get a huge amount of damage done as the raiding cavalry managing to break in onto this position here. Chariot archers pulling back ever so slightly, taking some big damage. Now the dwarves back into the center of the map. We are seeing Hall of Valhalla coming through as Nullus thinking he needs berserks. Letting those berserks die for more favor, for more gold mines, makes a lot of sense. Super FM trying to get the damage done. This game is absolutely on a knife edge. We do see that the trade route started over here as well for Nullus. Nullus still got to be a little bit careful going after this position here. That is a town center. It does some good damage. So raiding cavalry to come in, taking out the chariot archers. Super FM doesn't have any... he's only got 3 military buildings. Super FM's only got 3 military and no gold. 3 military buildings, not much gold. I don't know what else he can do here. The town center is now down. He's got 16 military population. Nullus, it looks like he has done it. It looks like he has pulled himself back from the brink in this game. Super FM's town center is going to be falling. And Super FM taps out. That was the most back and forth Age of Mythology game I think we've seen all tournament. It was throw after throw after throw, and it was amazing. And by throw after throw, I also mean incredible play after incredible play. Like, that's probably the better way to put it, right? What a game. What a game here. Congratulations to Nullus, but this is just the first of 3 potential. You have to get to 2. Nullus 1 win away from going on. Let's take a quick look at this timeline and see if we can kind of unpack it. Resource total here, shooting up. Nullus in front for the majority of it. Statistically speaking here, military killed lost. Nullus also in front, but that's really at the very end there where things went awry for Super FM. The military unit count just continuously going up, and you see how crazy this game is. My God. We'll get into game number 2. What a start. And off we go into game number 2 here. These guys just played a little bit of a crazy game 1. We'll see if they're going to be able to compose themselves going into game 2. But, you know, Nullus playing incredibly solid in that one. In the top of the map, we see Super FM here. He's now moving in with Zeus. And he's going to be going up against Nullus's Freyr here on the map Anatolia. So a little bit of fun here to move forward. Over here we've got ourselves the Feather of Bifang. Damage bonus against buildings plus 0.2x. Oh god, that relic is kind of insane for this map. Give that to Zeus, and now his hoplites are just like saying, excuse me, buildings, you don't get to exist in this game. My god. I was like, I like this relic because it gives everyone like a little bit of that Zeus flavor. We can like take down buildings a little bit easier type thing, but if Zeus gets it, oof. Meanwhile, over here we've got Bow of Artemis. Going to be making those archers a little bit cheaper. Some really good relics here. On this one, we've got Bridle of Pegasus. Another huge relic there for the Freyr player. Having access to that one for the free Pegasus is always going to be quite nice. And finally, hiding on this wall, on this, whatever you want to call this, snowy region, we have Fur of Boit, which is giving that regeneration rate to your heroes. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about this matchup as best we can. So Zeus, in this one, obviously has got the access to hoplite rates. Speedy hoplites at 4.9 speed, taking down docks, meaning that you're not going to get caught out by any sort of units that your opponent's going to be making. They're going to have to make throw-on axemen, which are really slow to kill off your hoplites. Hoplites can be made while building naval units because you've got the food coming in, the wood coming in. It sort of works out nicely, whereas you can't really do that as the Freyr player unless you just decide, I'm just going to go for mass berserks, take an L on the actual army, and call it a day there. And now it's going to be moving forward, dropping down a second dock. This is generally pretty important to do. Get 2 docks down for both players, as we're seeing that happen as well. You got 2 options here, right? You can go for the sort of I don't really want to deal with anything approach, where you go for a dock here and you dock down on this side if your opponent's not there. Or you can try and face your opponent up and deal with it over here. Now, if you do it like the former idea where you try and put a dock down, what ends up happening is you just take this fish first, kind of, or this fish first, and then you work backwards. And your opponent is only going to get 3 spots, whereas you're going to get all the other ones, and then you can come over to the other side and grab the other ones. And there's potential for you to get an advantage early game here. But we're not seeing either player going for that, and it's just going to be a nice shared situation. Second Berserk now out for Nullus as well. And we'll see how it's going to go. But I do expect to see Athena here for a Fem. I also would assume the god to go would be Ulla. However, given the map, Anatolia, one thing that I think goes a little bit by... One thing that I think people haven't quite worked out yet is that Anatolia's wood spawns a little further out of the base than normal. Hear me out on this. If you go for Freya here and we burn this back forest, all of a sudden, you don't have to, you can burn it when there's villages on there. All of a sudden, he has to be over here or he has to be over here. And you can raid this really, really hard. And life can get very, very challenging for your opponent. Same too on the other side here. If, say, for example, you can somehow lock this off, maybe, let's just say with a random tower, maybe that works or maybe that doesn't, then all of a sudden the forward 2 forests are very much out in the open. But anyways, point is, there is some room for wood staves on a map like this, which sounds a bit crazy, but could be a way to go if you want to play a little bit more aggressive. Unless there's the Athena, and it is going to be a lot. So we can't go into a fun crazy idea. No one wants to have fun. Ulla is just so good. Get that that fortress to defend your main base. Every time I've played against Kido, who I would say is one of the best in the business with this god, He likes to put that fortress in his main base to make sure that you can't get rushed down and killed. As the Asgardian Hill Fort gets dropped down, doesn't get spotted by Super FM's scout. He might be trying to search across the map, trying to find it, but that's the idea there. As in the main base, we see an armory for Super FM. Super FM likes this fast heroic. He likes it a lot. Personally, I think you really want to be building hoplites out first and foremost and getting the pressure going early here. Otherwise, you're giving time to the Frere player to set everything else up, and it might be a little bit tricky. But we'll see how it's going to work. He does have the edge of rushing straight for Skylar to control the water. Now, there is a possibility here for Nullus to defend that. He's already kind of gone down a bit of a wonky angle here by making the dragon ship out. You really want to be making archer ships and then getting yourself this technology here. Does cost a fair bit of favor, though, for Norse early on, so it's a little bit challenging. As Nullus is on both sides, and we see the Pentaconta coming out on both sides to look for a defense. There's only the one dock here, as the Asgardian Hill Fort's going to be finishing up. An armory as well coming through here for Nullus, as he's going to be looking to go to the next stage himself, but quite a ways behind here. We haven't quite talked about the town centers yet. Both town centers here not really securing anything in the middle. This is a little bit bad, or dangerous, I should say, for the Frere player. You normally want to have that town center close to these positions, on top of the gold mines if you can. Now, grabbing this town center here, for example, having it behind your town center might be an idea, but it's a little bit of a nothing there. This is the better one to go for, and it doesn't secure any gold mines. So this could be very, very tough here for Nullus in this game. We'll see if he's going to be able to identify that that's going to be a challenge for him and overcome it. Ooh, I kind of like this, actually. I'm liking this a lot, actually, from Nullus. He says, I'm going to bait out the Pentaconta, and then I'm going to go in to getting my upgrade, which he gets. The Heroic Fleet, 3x versus Myth units. As over here we see the Skylar going at it. That's going to go down. And he's going to need to defend against this. He's getting 2 Skylar, both from the bottom here, I think. Yes, he is. Both from the bottom dock. And he's going to be looking to put some pressure on, as Nullus needs to pull back, needs to get a couple more ships out. He is making a couple of the Dreki out as well in order to try and hold here. But this is what the Super FM wants. He's got a whole bunch of hoplites out. I wouldn't be surprised to see him putting a fortress up and going for a Hera here, but nonetheless, the Dreki is now in. That's going to be a nice tank. He's got himself a Kraken out as well to help deal with these bad boys. And it looks like there's not going to be any easy win here for Super FM. He does manage to bolt one Kraken. Good control here from Nullus to pull back, as that's going to be one dead Skylar, as the Dreki can get up to tanking 30% hack armor. Over here you've got 50% hack armor, so technically the longboat's the one you want to take damage, but it is the DPS dealer. As over onto this side, Nullus also getting that micro, and he's getting himself out of Kraken as well. The problem here is I don't necessarily think here that Nullus is going to be quite ready to hold this center. He does have himself a retreat path with Tempest, but we'll see if he's going to be able to figure it out. Does manage to snipe that. Oh, he misclicks onto a Juggernaut there, unfortunately. He can just turn around and kill off the Skylar, though. Does do so. There we go. And then he can go after everything else. Meanwhile, over onto this side, another Skylar to come through. Nullus paying very close attention to everything here, as he's going to be pulling back underneath his dock. And the Juggernaut ends up falling. As Nullus now looking to push forward. I don't think he needs to quite look for an engagement just yet, but mass hoplites against this army, it's a kind of a difficult one here. Forcing a fight right now could be quite nice, actually, for Nullus. As he charges in, he's got that Rock Giant going to be taunting these units in. That's going to allow him the time to take out the Minotaur, dropping that Tempest down. Super FM's just going to retreat back. As he snipes one villager down, another villager to go down. Throw an axeman going after the rest of these Deuterinos here. There is going to be a bronze on the table, but Super FM is in a pretty difficult spot here. Let's get a couple of units out as Nellis is now getting his own stuff. Going to be able to clean up this dock over here as the Scarlet going to be falling. You see some Peltas to come through. As Nellis, he can probably keep fighting here. He's kind of not attacking with his units though. Sitting still for that long is never good. The Rock Giant can turn around and maybe tank up for the retreat path as a Longhouse to come down for Nellis over here. Now Nellis is ready to start getting some fixture ship kills over onto this side. The dock here for Super. It's so strong. Docks is so strong. Nellis not going to be able to kill this one off, I don't think. But nonetheless, another temple to come in. The dwarves finishing up, or the villagers finishing up gold over here. He's in the center of the map right now into this position. The thing is here for Super FM, his plan is simple. Get a big army, click bronze, attack move. So Nellis has got to be ready for that somehow, some way. He's ready to start pushing forward there. Maybe the bronze has to come down now. This is what Nellis is trying to force. Peltas, great control here. Nellis does decide, oh, it's not going to be happening. Time to retreat back. Hoplite Peltas all the way here, it seems, for Super FM. As Begreezy getting pumped out very, very much, very quickly. But the army of Super FM is looking scary. A couple of great hauls to come up for Nellis on the back as well. There's the Begreezy coming in, but is sort of caught out of position here as it's going to get sniped down very quick. It's not very useful without support here as he gets half HP'd on the way out. Population-wise, it is a significant advantage for Nellis. But Nellis here, he doesn't really have the answer for those Peltas just yet. Generally, you want to have Huskal. Now, he does have the Asgardian Hillfort, but he's not building those. As bronze to get clicked down, restoration as well to come through. And Nellis says, okay, I don't need to be here. We can just run away. It's fine. Just wait this out. 34 seconds remaining. There is also going to be a Gulin Burst in his main base if Superfin wants to keep charging in here. As Nellis trying to get his units to do what he wants them to do. He does manage to do so there. As he turns around, gets a big taunt onto these dudes. As the raiding cavalry are going to be trying to get in onto the back of those Peltas. But good micro yet again here from Super FM. Sniping down. Throwing axemen left, right, and center. So raiding cavalry onto the back here. Doing a great job of tanking up and killing those Peltas. But all the throwing axemen look like they've fallen here. Population-wise, it's still an advantage for Nellis, but on the land, it's an advantage? Not exactly. A four-headed Hydra as well to boot. This guy is a big problem, but Begreezy's coming through here, going to start tanking this one up, as that looks like the rest of Super FM's army has fallen. And Nellis is going to go on to win this game, win this series, and move on to the next round. A dominating performance here from Nellis in this game. Managing to hold it together in the first one. Unfortunately for Super FM, his road to the Clash of the Immortals championship victor is over now. Nellis continues into the next round. Incredibly well played from him. Congratulations. I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do in the next one. Better luck to Super FM in the next tournament, and we'll see you guys in the next game. Okay, so this is going to be the final losers bracket game for today. In the bottom side of the map, in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is Tiger Bows. The Bows of the Tigers. His opponent today in the red color, playing as a Ferrer. His name is Mosca, the Great, Mosca the Wise, Mosca the Frere. We're on the map Alfheim, and I have a little bit of excitement for you guys. Somebody picked Arena in this series. Arena is a pickable map in this tournament, and someone picked it in this series. I believe it was Mosca. Might not have been. It might have been Tiger Boss, but anyways, they got picked. It's a bit of fun. I'm excited to see how the top level players are going to sort of play on a map like that. Over here we've got some relics. We've got the Bridle of Pegasus. Over here we have Hecate's Torch. On this top position we got Staff of Dionysus. On the bottom here there is Chariot of Cybele. So a bit of a Norse mirror here. It's a little bit wild. I'm not sure exactly how this one goes, because like if I play Freyr against Odin or Thor, I most likely want to be going for Freya and being the one who puts the pressure on. But against Loki, I'm just scared. I'm literally just scared the entirety of the game, right? So I guess we'll wait and see. It's a very, very defensible map. Mosca can just sit in his base, wall up, and be completely fine. But we'll see how it's going to go. I mean, generally speaking, it's going to be 4-seti for Tiger Boss, but he could go for a Heimdall idea here as well. It's not a bad idea in the Norse mirror. You get access to the Einherji. If you control that well, it's going to mean one fight. So you don't have to get any technologies. You just control the Einherji really well and live the dream. Plus, you also get access to Rigsthula, which can kind of help you get in front without really needing anything. Like, in a way, it punishes your opponent from not doing anything. So lots of options. Like fairly recently, I guess we started seeing Freyr players really starting to experiment without just going for the pay to win gods, the DLC gods, minor gods like Ulla, Vidar, Aegir. And I started to think about going through Freya, Bragi, and sometimes Hel. So there's lots of good ideas here on the side of Freyr. Oh, and these guys are on the wrong side. And we see Ulla. And we see a 4-seti. So no cooking. We're not in the kitchen on this day. Everyone is already well and truly prepared their just desserts in this game. So we'll see how it's all going to go as the house is coming off onto the side here for Moscow. And the villagers cleaning up those elk, doing all the good stuff there.
Skipan. Yo.
Meanwhile, Tiger Boss to move off to the left-hand corner over here. Going to grab that Chariot of Cybele. Doing all the good stuff. Tiger Boss to drop down his own longhouse on this spot as well. And it just looks like it's going to be a fairly stock standard opening. We do see actually great haul for Moscow, so not going to go straight into those longhouse units. Maybe wanting to make some more Hersa. Maybe like a Hersa throw an Axeman type army. Seems to be pretty popular these days for the Norse players just to open up with. And that's what we're going to be seeing for Tiger Boss here to kick the game off with. Searching out with the troll all across the map, looking for a little something, something. Oop. Our first little flash of something a little bit odd here. Tiger Boss drops a town center. Why is this strange? Well, generally we don't see this because hard to like survive whatever's going to get thrown your way. But in this specific situation, you take a look at what Mosk is doing. He's stuck in his base. He's walled up. He's building units. He's getting more buildings. He's putting walls down over here. Oh, oh, oh. Mr. Troll is stuck. Can he get out? Can he get out? Oh, oh, oh. Oh, he got spotted. He got spotted. Okay, he got spotted. Oh, dear. Well, that's a dead troll. Meanwhile, though, this huge distraction from Tiger Boss, Moscow has got no idea what's happening. Longhouse in the center of the map coming through. Spy gets dropped down in the middle as well. Unit's going to try and bash down this wooden wall, but now Tiger Boss is on 2 town centers. Moscow doesn't know just yet. He's checking out the town center at the bottom, realizing that's not a problem. There's a couple more throwing axemen to keep pumping away, but I mean, at this point, Moscow's got to do something, right? Like, he doesn't know that he has to do something. He's just going to sit here. I'm scared, he says. And he doesn't... He's not going to spot the town center with this raiding cap. Maybe the town center is going to give itself away. A classic. A classic. When are we going to be able to stop command our town center? I want to be able to turn my town center off of shooting so I can stop him from getting given away. Moscow should not have known that town center was there with that raiding cavalry. Ah! Curse you! Anyways. Now Moscow can grab his own town center, but he is going to be significantly behind on villages. Probably going to be somewhere between 7 and 8 villages behind here. A good 30 seconds for that to go up. Might be actually 9 villages behind. That's a huge advantage for Tiger Boss. But the raiding cavalry to come through, village is going to be retreating away. There's a lot there. It looks like his one's going to be falling. Nice little snipe for Moscow. He is off to the literal races with those horses, finding a lot of dead villages. Or, well, not a lot of dead villages. A lot of damage here. A lot of idle villages caused. Three town centers. Because why not? 2 town centers weren't enough. Let me grab 3. And we'll call it a day. As Moscow going to be dropping his Asgardian hill fort over here, Tiger Boss is going to make a decision. Does he just push over there and try and kill this? Does he have the units to do that? Not really. So he's got to just let it happen as the gold lions here, taking a bit of a fight. We see the herdmen. Have to be very, very careful on this. There is the idea of going for some... what's the technology called again? Yidalur. And starting to make some portable rams, break through this spot and cause a lot of problems. But that being said, if Tiger Boss just spams units, that's not going to work. There's Moscow poking his head a little bit forward. What's he going to be able to find here is the big question. Couple more walls to come up over onto this side. But I imagine here maybe like a heroic gauge flaming weapons might be good. Or even, probably not flaming weapons, but just... Oh, I remember. If you go through A gear here with Frere, you get access to the rock giants, and killing off rock giants is really, really challenging in this matchup. Like, kind of technically speaking, one of the best ways to kill them off is actually to build portable rams. Because they just have so much armor that your heroes don't really do a whole lot to them, and the heroes are going to die really quickly to throw an axeman. And you can't really kill them off with Goaty either. They've got such high pierce armor. So you almost have to make portable rams to actually kill them off. Which is wild. You do see A get to come through. The Tiger Boss has got such a huge villager lead that it just might not matter. Apparently kill them with Battle Ball. Yeah, but the Battle Ball don't really work now, do they? They get taunted in and then the heroes on the Freyr side kill them off. Very, very tough. Nonetheless. We'll see if Tiger Boss can just utilize his greedy Norse, build an army, hold, and find a win here. Now, Mosker is a king of playing these tight space games. He's so good at it. So throw an axeman wandering forward here for Tiger Boss. Trying to kill some Deuterinos here as he's going to be able to snipe down the Great Hall. Onto the back here. Mosker getting himself more buildings. He's in the heroic age now. He does have a lot of favor, so he can get himself some very quick Bergrizi here. Going for Feast of Renown nice and fast might sound like a good idea, but he's kind of on a timer. Can't really be doing a whole lot of waiting here for myth units to push. He has to wait for his medium cavalry, his heavy infantry, all these upgrades, but maybe not for anything else as the dwarves now get pulled off of this gold mine. Nice decision making there as the army pushing forward. He's got a gold mine over here he can go to. The army now charging in. There's no Ghoul and Bursty for Tiger Boss, and if Mosker can kill this town center, he's got a forward town center to grab for Ghoul and Bursty casts and all the other good stuff. So middle building's going to go down. Heavy infantry, it takes so long. 75 seconds of grueling waiting as a Freyr player, but it's worth the wait for those cheap upgrades. Tiger Boss going to be getting himself his Great Hall. He's making himself Cave Troll. Wants to be pumping those trolls out, it seems, rather than going for battle boards or anything like that. As Mosker now charging through. Now the question here is there a flaming weapons attack that works against Tempest? Does that work? I don't know. Mosker here is going to be able to kill up the town center, probably throw his own down here, and while Tiger Boss has got a 10 villager lead at the moment, is that going to be enough? Guess we'll wait and see. Heavy infantry to come through, Hall of Thanes as well. Tiger Boss looking to take a fight. The throw and axe from putting the town center up. This is what I was worried about. This is going to be Ghoul and Bursty in the middle fight here. As the army retreating back, 20 seconds on that town center is a very, very short amount of time. In fact, Mosker says, I want this up as really, really fast. 10 seconds remaining. More throw an axe onto it. It's going to be getting up. And that means Ghoul and Bursty plus Tempest here on a big attack to come through. Tiger Boss just trying to stay outside of the range of any sort of Ghoul and Bursty here. A good spacing with the throw and axe when pulling back, trying to get up a Great Hall there as the heavy cavalry to come through is now outside of the range of any sort of shenanigans there. So throw an action here for Tiger Boss, staying well and truly out of range, but they're focusing down the Rock Giant. Kind of tickling the Rock Giant, but he gets an Ironry. That's nice. One Rock Giant to fall. Tiger Boss attempting to push forward here and kill these units off. Big troll throw there, getting a big amount of damage. The heroes just aren't really in Tiger Boss here to deal with this Bergrizi spam. Well, not Bergrizi just yet, Rock Giant spam. Trying to utilize that troll to get some extra huge damage buffs in, but that's not going to be working out. As we see the Goatee, and this is what we're talking about. They just don't do that much damage here. One dies, going to be charging forward. Realistically, sacking a unit in to take that taunt is generally fine. But a nice retreat back here from Tiger Boss. Slowly starting to kill off that front line there. The Rock Giants are just going to keep coming, though. Look at the favor. So much in the bank there. As leaving the Goatee forward is a smart idea here. That's that taunt. Now the army of Tiger Boss is going to melt. He can dive into the town center, I guess. But look at the villager differential now. Mosker's caught up. His army is huge. And Tiger Boss doesn't have a whole lot going for him now. He seems out of steam, trying to make those Goaty out, trying to make the trolls out, trying to make the throw and axeman. But all of his units die, and Mosca, with some very, very nice rock giant shenanigans here, manages to push through, takes the town center, kind of catches Tiger Boss out of position with that one. And Tiger Boss too slow to react and push back and prevent this run from getting up. Does mean he had to be somewhat respectful of that. But more so, dealing with these very, very beefy trolls, rock giants, very challenging here for the Loki. Not really sure what else he should have been going for, because you can't really go for her, sir. Because they're just going to get absolutely demolished by the throwing axeman. I think building out the portable rams did make some sense. These guys only got 40% crush armor, so it's not a lot. So they die very, very quickly to portable rams, but then the portable rams also get targeted down pretty quickly by throwing axemen at 5.8 hack damage per second. So it's a bit of a head scratcher. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, don't forget to hit the follow. We're going to move on to game number 2 and seeing if Tiger Boss can flip the script or if it's going to be a quick 2-0 for Mosca. And it's here, the official first ever officially sanctioned professional game of Age Mythology played on the map Arena. We're making history here today in the bottom of the map, down 0-1 in this best of 3 series. Lose this game and he goes home. His name's Tiger Boss. His opponent today, in the red color, playing as Isis. He's 1 win away from surviving until next week of this tournament. Let's take a look at this map. This is very, very new. Gold mines, 3,000 apiece. Wood lines, there's nothing around the base. Only on the very outskirts do you have your wood. Only on the very outskirts. Taking a look at it. So very easy to actually, like if you wanted to play aggressive on this map, guess who's got some answers? Freya, Thor, Odin, Freya. Though some of those have already been picked, so. But you could play aggressive here and open up the position and get going. Alternatively, Heimdall as well to break the walls down and get going early. Lots of options. It's not like these walls here seem safe for the beginning, but they're not that safe. They're a little bit safe. They're not that safe. But we'll see what's going to happen here. If we take a quick look at the town centers, bam, town center here, not a whole lot around it. Kind of sitting here, just not doing much. On the side, however, we have a nice gold mine with 2 aurochs. We got a couple of gold mines surrounding it and a pretty nice forest close to it. Over on this left-hand corner, a similar sort of situation. Got the double aurochs, gold mines. In the center here, not a whole lot going on. Kind of close hunt, but not really. So, yes. Very exciting. We'll see what these guys are going to do now. I am going to go out on a limb here and say these guys are at very best theory crafting here. This is like you're going to be watching these guys sort of basically cooking up strategies on the spot to some degree. Thinking about, okay, what does it mean if my base is completely secured early on? What does that mean? Well, one, it means I can't get pressured early. So I can do a lot of other random strategies. Like Mosca could try, I said this before in the pregame, but he could try a fast 3 village center strategy. Keep it out of sight, keep it out of mind, hard to scout from the Fushi. You can send in those Sky Lantern, but there's all these towers. Another thing here is that there is an extra tower in your main base. You've got 5 towers rather than just 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. So sending in those Sky Lanterns and trying to scout out what's happening might not really work. Village center here, village center over here. There's also a hefty amount of hunt here as Mosca's grabbing the forward hunt first, and there's also back hunt. There's also berries, chickens. So a whole bunch of resources in this main base. You don't have to leave if you don't want to. Fushi, on the other hand, what can he do? Well, he does have access to Nubar, as he does go out through Chi Yo, pretty quickly here, and he is looking to leave his base and grabbing a forward town center, it looks like. But he could go for a nice new bar sort of attack with Drought. Let the walls go half HP, break those down with a big push of Tao Tie, and have a good time. Looks like Tiger Bots did actually just go one Cloudfoot. I don't know if this is on purpose or not. He's starting to link up the houses here, spreading out that. He didn't have the favor for the Cloudfoot because he didn't have his towers connected to favored land. Meaning he only had this much favored land to kick the game off with, rather than normally quite a bit more in like a regular map. Big difference there. Maybe an oversight from Tiger Boss. Maybe he knew. Meanwhile, in the main base here, we've got the prosperity to come through. Look at the gold. I would be a little shook if we see double village center here from Moscow. But also, it makes perfect sense. One village center. Looks like these guys are on the same wavelength as me. Double village center here for Moscow. Why is this so good? Well, this boosts the economy. Keeps everything going in a big way. Such that you can survive the initial 6,000 gold of an opponent on 2 town centers. And go for a big, fat, contain strategy. Big push. Big doll stronghold or 3. Siege works, chariot archer, camel rider. Very tough to hold that on. Not only that, Pharaoh here can empower up both of these village centers. So while the first half of this wasn't empowered, the second half will. So you're going to get, instead of just like one town center getting empowered up, you get 1.5, which is nice. So they both finish up pretty quickly. And then behind this, I imagine Moscow is just going to go third age, call it a day. Love to see it. Tiger Boss, does he know what's happening? Answer, no. Does he care? I don't think so. Imperial Academy, he's got his strategy. We saw him do this against Grass, where he went 2 town center. Fast stroke, he's going to get himself out the Imperial Academy here as the token. That goes into your temple, my friend. This is not a temple. This is an Imperial Academy. Nejar coming through as well. Big fat, powerful 100 gold hero. Going to get even more powerful. As we see an armory and a market in the corner. Houses as well. Just going to be locking off that position. Love that play. Also a monument to soldiers here. One thing to remember is any sort of early Great Flood will knock these walls down. These walls will fall down to a Great Flood, I think. I think it does that much damage. Tiger Boss just going to be moving back into his main base, eating up all of these Deuterinos over here, doing what he can. More houses. He's got to link up all of these towers here to the favored land. It's so much favor. Generally, like the towers, they are only giving you a smidge of how much favor they're actually worth in a regular game, right? On a regular map. But on Arena, you get the full amount, and that's not a small amount. Look at how much favor you get, or how much favored land you get. That's huge. So the favor here for Tiger Boss should be gigantic. But anyways, Nefty's already on the way. We've got Shaft Mine coming through. Villager Differential still slightly favoring Tiger Boss because of how the... Is he building Quailfu? He's got a handful of Quailfu. Sure. The town centers did come up, or the town center did come up a little bit faster than Moscow's. And as the heroic age comes through, Moscow says, all right, time to move forward. Let's drop ourselves a Migdol over here, and we're going to move to the next part of this game. There's the Nephthys. We see Gao Mang coming through. No surprises. That's what he went last time. I think it's a good idea. You can punish this though. Got to be careful. This isn't like a defend all sort of god power, kind of like Citadel might be, where you don't really want to fight a Citadel. It's quite difficult. This, if you just target down the building, you can kill it off. If it's on a ballet or just a random building, a town center, send a whole bunch of siege towers, and you can take this down. But you have to focus the building. You can't just ignore it and take a fight underneath it in like a close to equal fight. It's just not going to work. And nonetheless, Migdol is up, and we see Thoth. Pretty cute. Not really surprised to see this. I would have loved to see a kind of contained strategy here from from Moscow, but given the map and given how easy it is to defend, it does make some sense. He's grabbed himself scales of He's got scales of Catoblepas, he's got Canopic Jar of Imseti, and he's got Harmonious Necklace here. He's grabbed a lot of relics. But there's the Galmang. As I'm sure a ballet is going to be on its way very, very shortly here for Tiger Boss. He's got so many resources in the bank as he's grabbing the Peach Blossom Spring, but he needs the wood. A little bit short on that. But Thoth is already in, which does mean huge amounts of chariot archers, huge amounts of units to start getting pumped out. But the problem here, to some degree for Moscow, is favor generation is a little bit on the low side. He's got 38 favor. He's getting 10 favor per minute, which means he can get 1 Migdol out and stay at this favor for his Valley of Kings. As there's the gong to come through. Okay, no surprises there, but how's he going to use it? It's fairly natural to say that, Arena will play this way, but I don't think that it's this simple. I don't think that you're going to see... If we were to see an Arena game, like, quite a bit, I think we would... This is like your natural, like, first go-to strategy when you think about Arena. It's like, well, we just do a fast mythic, right? But I don't think that's actually... the be-all and end-all here. There's definitely some other angles to go down. So villagers moving forward onto this position. Sphinx getting chased around. Is this Nejar is about to get very, very strong. The question really is going to be, can Moscow deal with Yang Wick? John Wick in Age of Mythology fun. Age of Mythology, in the Age of Mythology world. Getting himself more Imperial Academies. I still want to see this. I want to see these texts coming through. Get all 3 of those. Eastwind, Skyfire. There's the villagers to move forward. Another ballet coming in. Here's our Valley of the Kings, as would be expected. Second Migdol is up. No favor in the bank right now. Moscow's got to actually empower the Migdol, however, to get the value, as now he will, and that's going to be heavy camel riders and all the good stuff. That's the Phoenix here getting demolished by that Jiang Xia. I don't know. Is the ballet going to go down? No, maybe not. I'm going to take out the units, however. This is a fairly low value meteor. Does it actually kill off the ballet? Yes, it does. You can try and keep the Phoenix Egg alive here, pushing forward. As now we've got Yang Wick, Yang Jian to come through, and we'll see if Moscow can figure this one out. He's got Ancestors Eclipse in his back pocket. I wouldn't expect him to use that until he gets a couple more Myth units out, a couple more Phoenix out, perhaps. The villagers moving over onto this gold mine, onto the right-hand corner. Ready to start taking this fight. The Tao Wu kind of wasting his special there a little bit. As Moscow pulls back. His Phoenix is back alive. He's getting taken out, however, by a Pioneer. Got to be careful with that one. Look at the military might right now for Moscow. He's at 180 pop. He's going to need to get town centers, though. Lots and lots of villagers on wood. Probably too many. He needs to put farms down as well in his main base. He does have a significant villager advantage at the moment. As the Great Flood going to be getting clicked up. Ancestors Eclipse to get dropped down. Too late on that monument there. He was empowering it nicely, but that Great Flood going to sweep through. Maximum amounts of pain inflicted here, as we do have lightning weapons getting clicked. The Pharaoh to take out the big dragon boy. But those camel riders getting some big damage. The question is, Yang Jian, can he deal with this bad boy? The wolf coming around, you have to deal with damage before it comes back in, or he gets the HP back and he's back up to 300 HP. But it looks like he will go down here. There's so much damage. This guy is an absolute beast. Trying to retreat away and up. Oh. One down. One down. One John Wick down. How many more to go? That's the champion Camel Rider coming through. Got a Migdol stronghold on the way as well. There's Shada come through as a vibrant land technology coming as well for Tiger Boss. This is such a big technology because it gives you such a huge wood income boost. Plus, you also get infinite wood for the rest of the game. You don't have to worry about it. All your houses are going to be sprouting wood. Does it tell me exactly what's going on here? Every 120 seconds. There you go. Every 120 seconds, you get another 250 wood on all 14 of your houses. 16 of your houses. Whatever it is. It's now Moscow. I'm going to start building out his catapult here. Pulling back here for the time being. What can Tiger Boss do? He's got a lot of resources in the bank to spend. 1,500. Camel Riders coming around onto the side. There is a Migdol stronghold. Scouting this all out. He sees the gold mine getting grabbed over here. Town center to get claimed as well. There's a catapult to take out this ballet. We'll be taking away that forest land here. This forest protection. We've got to be a little bit careful there, as Moscow, without access to a whole bunch of front line here, those chariot archers are a little bit weak. Great micro there from Moscow to pull away from the Nejar. Manages to snipe him down after a few volleys. But now Yang Jian is back in yet again as the heavy tiger cavalry. That's a scary unit right there. As he's charging in over here, you've got to be pulling, microing, and being very efficient to stop this bad boy, as he does manage to take him down. Tiger Boss still just trying to push through, trying to make things happen, but he's so far behind on military, he's just not going to win these fights. If you take a look at this Tiger Boss heavy tiger cavalry, 1.5x versus archers, 1.5x versus cavalry, this thing absolutely decimates chariot archers. Its whole design is, I'm going to screw up chariot archers, I'm going to kill them, I'm going to put them in the ground. So we're going to be so careful against those. As the catapult over here, slowly taking down this ballet, a third town center for Moscow to come through as well. As Tiger Boss ready to take another fight. I think if Tiger Boss can just get the full population, we've already seen how powerful some of his units are here. If we can get the full population, I think he's going to be okay, but I don't know if he's got it. He's got so many resources, actually. I think he's completely fine here to just get up to it. He is making some halberdiers, which might be a little bit scary considering they're not really upgraded just yet. Yang Xian is back in as well. It is attempting to snipe down Nejar. Moscow's got to be really careful. This is the hard part about playing this Chinese Civ. You can lose your entire army very, very quickly. Does he have ballistics? Yes, he does. A little bit unlucky with that one. As the Yang Xian is back in, and he sends that wolf in, and he is back up to full HP. Nejar does fall. The ballet has gone down though. That's over onto this side. He's going after the villagers. Look at that damage that comes out of it. Look at it. He does so much damage per shot. And can he snipe this bad boy down? He's going to be sending that wolf forward to get all that HP back as he's charging forward now. But by the time he starts actually getting damage done, it looks like it will be night-night for him as another Najjar coming back in. But that one's going to go down as well. Meanwhile, over here, Tiger Boss trying to get himself this town center up. That can get shot down here. He's not actually paying attention to it, though. As there he goes, and that should be a denial of that town center. Meanwhile, Tiger Boss is going for mass pioneers here. But he doesn't have the upgrade. I want to see the pioneers doing the thing. I want to see it. Najjar back in, gonna get sniped down. He does cost a hefty price here. 125 gold with a technology reducing his cost, right? That was pretty expensive. And back in. Every time I see this guy, I get a little bit nervous. I get a little bit nervous because he is very, very powerful. Good pull away here from Moscow. As it looks like he is going to be falling yet again. But it looks like the longer this goes on, the harder it is for Tiger Boss. As in that moment there, Tiger Boss does decide to tap out, and Moscow goes on to find the victory. A well-played game here from Moscow. Didn't really ever give Tiger Boss the opportunity to breathe here. I do think that, yeah, this arena map is 100% in its infancy. But if you take at least in Age of Mythology, but if you go and take a look at how arena plays on Age of Empires 2, which is where it's very, very popular, while at the lower levels, there can be a lot of fast castling going on. I don't think you rarely see like a quick Imperial Age in Age 2. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have the experience there. But rather you see the players getting out on the map and trying to like lock it up, grabbing relics, and more importantly in Age of Mythology, grabbing gold mines. But both players are siding straight to the Mythic Age. That's going to be favoring the Isis, it seems. Potentially, maybe Tiger Boss just didn't quite get out what he needed here to have success. Anyways, that's today done, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys had a fantastic time hanging out with me. We'll be back tomorrow with more EGCTV shenanigans. Clash of the Immortals. Congratulations to Moscow. Congratulations to Nullus making it through to the next weekend, as well as Chemo, Grass, Rapple, and who was the other one? My brain is not working. I don't even have my notes. Someone else got through as well. Chemo, Grass, Rapple, and someone else. Anyways, GG's, and we'll see you guys in the next one.